Chapter 55. After Gu Lingqing and Baiya made a statement, they went to the mayor's hospital. Baiya was a doctor. She helped Gu Lingqing to reduce the inflammation, apply medicine, and tie the bandage. Gu Lingqing looked at her without blinking. She was very focused, and her eyes were on his arm. She frowned slightly, and there seemed to be tears flowing in her eyes. "What are you thinking about?" Gu Lingqing asked. "It seems that nothing good happens when you meet me. The car accident last time, and now you're injured again," Baiya said apologetically. "Why do I feel that meeting you is a good thing? If it weren't for you, the mission to keep the hostages safe and sound wouldn't have succeeded. It was also because of you that I could use the car accident as an excuse to avoid some messy things." Gu Lingqing comforted her. "What about this time? This time I called you over. If I came alone, I would have been fooled too. I didn't know that the two girls were pretending. Maybe I would have died long ago, and I wouldn't have suffered such a little injury," Gu Lingqing said and held her hand. Baiya's heart trembled. The temperature of his palm was too high. She wanted to pull away, but he held her in his arms and restrained her. "Let go of me." Baiya turned her face away and didn't dare to look at her. "I don't want to let go," Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice and looked at her with a burning gaze. Baiya's heart was beating very fast. Her rationality was already shaking. Gu Lingqing was a good man. Even if this kind of man just stood under the sun, he could shine brighter than the sun. Many ladies from prestigious families wanted to marry him. What did she have to do to deserve him? From the moment they met again, she found that he was so strong that she couldn't resist him. His aura was almost about to drown her. He didn't want to be polite like in the beginning, and he didn't even ask if she was willing or not. She was really afraid that she would make an unforgivable mistake. "Gu Lingqing, I'm not divorced. You know that, right?" Baiya said straightforwardly. "I don't care. It's just a piece of paper. I can make this piece of paper invalid right now." Gu Lingqing released her and picked up the phone. He dialed the number. "Lieutenant Colonel Shang, I'm Gu Lingqing. Find the best lawyer in the city to help Baiya with the divorce case. Settle it within a week." Gu Lingqing ordered domineeringly. Baiya was speechless. He looked at her. "What other concerns do you have? Why don't you just say it all at once? I'll settle it for you." "Baiya, don't think of hiding like a porcupine. This time, I won't let you back down. We haven't known each other for long. It's not appropriate to be so impulsive." Baiya stood up. Gu Lingqing held Baiya's arm. His gaze sharpened. Because he pulled on the wound, it split open and blood stained the gauze. "You've known Su Jiran for a long time. You've been married for 3 years. Are you suitable for him?" Gu Lingqing said unhappily. "I've been married to him for 3 years and I still don't know who he is, let alone you. I'm not a woman who just wants to play around. I want a normal life, a husband who loves me, an adorable child, and a husband who doesn't need to be too powerful. He just needs to take care of the family. This is my thirst." "Hope," Baiya said emotionally. "Can't I give you the life you want? At least I can use my abilities to create a blue sky for you. No matter what happens outside, as long as I'm not dead, I can protect you." Gu Lingqing was annoyed. "At least wait until after my divorce." "What is this now? I'm Mrs. Su, not Mrs. Gu." "I can't get over this," Baiya said impulsively. "Then it's a deal. After the divorce, we'll get married." Gu Lingqing let go of her hand and said domineeringly. "Baiya," she paused. That wasn't what she meant. She just didn't want him to force her. She was a little breathless. When he said this, Baiya knew that he said something wrong. "Why do you have to be with me?" "I know myself," Baiya said softly. He didn't know why he had to be with her. However, 3 years ago, when he slept with her, he kept her in his heart. Knowing that she wasn't living a good life, he couldn't let her go. He wanted to give her a good life and make up for the mistake 3 years ago. Even if he had to sacrifice his entire life, he wanted to give her happiness with his body. Gu Lingqing glanced at his arm. Let's not talk about this anymore. Help me bandage it again. Baya saw that he was bleeding again. Thinking about it, there was still a month before her divorce. There were still many variables that could happen. It was a little groundless for her to worry about the future now. Anyway, he wouldn't force her now. They could talk about the future in the future. Baya untied the gauze on Gu Lingqing's arm and helped him wash it again. She applied some medicine and bandaged it. You have to take the anti-inflammatory medicine. If you don't have a fever tomorrow, you don't have to take it if you have a scar. Drink more water, Baya instructed. Gu Lingqing smiled and stood up. What are you smiling about? Baya looked at him, puzzled. I think it's good to listen to you nagging like this. Let's go, it's very late now. We still have to wake up early tomorrow morning. Okay, I'll drive. Baya carried the medicine and walked in front. The roads in the countryside were very deserted. At this time, there were no cars or pedestrians. Baya drove quietly. Gu Lingqing looked at her. What would have happened if she hadn't met him 3 years ago? Would Su Jiran treat her well? Baya's phone rang. She saw that it was Lu Shuang's call and picked it up. What's wrong, Shuangniu? Baya asked, puzzled. Xiao Bai, I have something to tell you. Lu Shuang's voice was very low. I'm following Su Jiran and Xing Jinyan. They're doing that kind of thing in the wilderness. Waha, I'll record it later. If Su Jiran doesn't get a divorce in a month, you'll have evidence to sue him. That shameless bastard. How could Xing Jinyan be so despicable? Be careful alone. It's very late now, Baya said worriedly. What are you afraid of? Shen Yan is here too. He's the crown prince, who would dare to provoke him? It's fine, I'll talk to you later. They seem to be done for. Xing Jinyan is almost out of breath from all the shouting. I'll record it first, Lu Shuang said and hung up. Baya gripped her phone tightly. This time, she should be able to divorce Su Jiran. Are you hungry? Gu Lingqing asked. She didn't eat much during dinner due to her awkwardness. After all that, when Gu Lingqing asked, she realized that she was really hungry. At this time, all the restaurants are closed and the convenience stores are closed. I have instant noodles in my room. Let's make instant noodles when we get back, Baya suggested. Okay, Gu Lingqing replied. They were not far from the hospital, so they arrived in no time. Baya just stopped the car. Gu Lingqing turned her face and his lips landed on hers. Baya was shocked. Before she could react, he let go of her. Baya, you're so silly. Su Jiran is not worthy of your love, Gu Lingqing said meaningfully. He'll grow up eventually, Baya sighed. Chapter 56. Baya didn't understand what Gu Lingqing meant, so she didn't dare to reply. Gu Lingqing smiled and poked her nose. Idiot, let's go. We're getting out of the car. Baya watched him open the car door and get off. She didn't dare to ask. She got off the car, took out the car key, locked the car door and passed the key to Gu Lingqing. I'll leave the key with you first. You can drive the car first since you don't have a car, Gu Lingqing said and walked in front. Baya felt that his words meant that he was giving her the car to drive. It's not convenient for you to drive now. I'll return the key to you tomorrow, Baya said. Gu Lingqing looked at her. You know what I mean. Maybe you'd prefer me to drive you to and from work every day. Baya's heart was trembling. She lowered her head. The gift is too expensive. I can't accept it. I'll repay you with my body, Gu Lingqing said domineeringly. He looked ahead coldly and quickened his pace. Baya felt that he didn't dare to accept the gift because he wanted her. But he said it out loud. She was speechless. Gu Lingqing walked to the door of her room and stopped. Baiya opened the door with a conflicted heart. Gu Lingqing walked in with a cool look on his face. Baiya went to boil water and turned on the TV. Gu Lingqing wasn't watching the TV. Instead, he was browsing on his phone. She stood there awkwardly and opened the packaging of the instant noodles. Suddenly, she felt Gu Lingqing approaching her. Her back stiffened and she didn't dare to breathe. "Why didn't you accept my gift and return what I gave you before, huh?" Gu Lingqing asked directly. She already felt that the air was thin when she was in the same space with him, let alone when he was standing behind her. "I don't like to accept things from others casually," Baiya explained. He turned her face to face with him. "We're going to get married in the future. You can't just accept my things casually, right?" Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice. "Aren't we not married yet?" Baiya pushed his hand away. Gu Lingqing sneered and saw her resistance. "I'll sleep here tonight." "What?" Baiya looked at her in shock. Her eyes widened, and she could not stay calm. "It's not like we haven't slept together before. What are you worried about?" "I promised not to touch you, so I won't," Gu Lingqing said and turned around. "I'm going to take a shower first." Baiya stared at his back. She wasn't worried about what he would do, but she was worried that her rationality was too weak to do anything to him. The more she thought about it, the more she felt that something was wrong. A man and a woman alone in a room. He had that kind of feeling for her again. What if there was a fire and they caught on fire? She would regret it even if she refused. Baiya took the opportunity while he was taking a shower and said, "I don't think it's suitable to stay in the same room. I've made you some instant noodles. I'll sleep in the car." She did not wait for his reply and walked out of the door. Gu Lingqing rushed over. Baiya had just touched the handle when he picked her up and threw her on the bed. She remembered that Gu Lingqing was pressing on her shoulders. The water droplets on his hair dripped on her body. His cold handsome face was tense, and his eyes were full of anger as he stared at her. "Do you want to make me angry?" Gu Lingqing said coldly. Baiya did not know how to explain and pushed his shoulders. His body was wet, and his shoulders were cold. She realized that he was taking a cold shower and felt a strange pity in her heart. She replied, "I'm afraid something will happen." "What happened?" Gu Lingqing's eyes became dreamy. She found it hard to speak, so she lowered her eyes. Her long eyelashes covered her eyelids, like a shy bride. Gu Lingqing's abdomen tightened and his blood flowed in reverse. He frowned. He faced her as if it was useless no matter how many cold showers he took. He could not control the urge in his body at all. Or rather, he did not want to control it at all. It was not like they had not done it before. Gu Lingqing lowered his head and kissed her lips. Baiya pushed him away in panic. He was like Mount Tai, not moving an inch. Baiya felt that his breath was getting heavier and heavier, and it fell on her face. The temperature in the room was also getting higher. Her mind was buzzing. She could not push him away, and her hands were trembling. His large palm moved down her slender waist. Baiya twisted her waist and touched his sensitive parts. She felt like she was a wolf in a tiger's den and made a final struggle. Even if Gu Lingqing raped her now, what could she do? Sue him? She would not do that. There would be no result if she sued him. However, she was not willing to have sex with him just like that. Gu Lingqing felt Baiya's resistance. He maintained his last bit of rationality and stopped. He looked at her with pain in his eyes. "Xiaoya, don't move from now on. I won't go in. But if you move, I'm afraid I won't be able to control myself. Can you trust me?" Baiya looked at him while trembling. Her eyes were wet and all kinds of thoughts were fighting in her mind. Gu Lingqing did not wait for her to reply. He was afraid that he would hear something he did not want to hear. He leaned over and kissed her forehead, the corner of her eyes, and her cheeks. His kiss was much gentler than before. Baiya did not dare to move. Gu Lingqing turned off the lights. It was pitch black in front of her. Gu Lingqing, what are you doing? I can't see anything, Baiya asked in fear. Do you want to see? Then I'll turn on the lights, Gu Lingqing said hoarsely. Baiya seemed to realize what he wanted to do. She quickly said, I don't want to see. Listen, I'll be responsible for you, Gu Lingqing promised. Baiya looked at him in the night. His shadow was very blurry, but his eyes were very bright. They were like gems in the dark. With the cover of the night, she was not as resistant and uncomfortable as before. Her face blushed a little. He was kissing her, from her cheeks to her lips, and then to her neck. His hot breath was on her skin. Her legs were warm. Baiya knew what it was. Although he did not touch the bottom line, she also felt that this was not good. It was not good at all. She really did not understand how powerful Su Jiran was. He could have sex with so many women. Did he not think about his married status? Even if he thought of himself as single, did he not feel guilty towards her? Even if he did not feel guilty towards her, what about Xing Jinyan? She would not be like this. If she loved one, she would never have sex with another. Gu Lingqing, are you done? Baiya urged. Gu Lingqing did not answer her. He kissed her lips again. Her heart was beating fast. Although she did not see it, she could guess that he must be very powerful. So powerful that she could feel its explosive power. She did not know why, but she thought of the man from 3 years ago. That man was also very powerful, domineering, and fierce like a beast. Chapter 57. He hugged her tightly and pulled her into his embrace. The air was filled with the scent of love, wantonly entering her nose. Baiya didn't dare to move. His breath fell on her neck, tickling her fragile heart. After a long while, Baiya cleared her throat. You're done. Yeah, Gu Lingqing replied. His voice was deep and didn't lose its sensuality. In the quiet night, it sounded especially pleasant, just like a radio announcer, causing one's imagination to run wild. Then do you want to take a shower? Baiya reminded her. Mainly because he was hugging her now, she felt very hot and her body was sticky. Not at the moment, there's no need to take a cold shower. Go to sleep, it's already very late, Gu Lingqing said gently. But he did it. She was too embarrassed to say anything else, so she closed her eyes. She thought she couldn't sleep, since there was a man lying behind her. But she was too tired, so she fell asleep after a while and didn't even eat the instant noodles. By the time she woke up, it was already morning. Baiya looked beside her, but Gu Lingqing was no longer there. Gu Lingqing, Baiya called. No one answered her. She saw that the car keys were still on the table, so Gu Lingqing probably didn't leave the hotel. Where did he go so early in the morning? Baiya walked into the washroom. Gu Lingqing had brushed her teeth, and the toothbrush was placed in the cup. He had squeezed some toothpaste on her toothbrush and placed it on top of the cup. Baiya felt a warmth in her heart. Gu Lingqing looked cold, but sometimes he was quite meticulous. She brushed her teeth and walked out of the hotel. Gu Lingqing walked over from the road, carrying a plastic bag in his hand. He walked in front of her, and the morning sunlight fell on his handsome face. His handsomeness was even more dazzling than the sun. Unconsciously, Baiya's heart skipped a few beats. Let's have breakfast. I've already bought it. Let's go after breakfast, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice and walked in front. And, you woke up early? Baiya asked, following behind him. If I don't wake up, it will wake up, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Who is he? Baiya was puzzled. Gu Lingqing looked at her with deep meaning in his eyes. Baiya knew what it meant. She blushed and lowered her head. Gu Lingqing held her hand and said impatiently, hurry up and get a divorce. Baya pulled out her hand and opened the door without saying a word. The 2 bowls of instant noodles on the table yesterday, Gu Lingqing had already gone missing. He took out the breakfast he had bought. 2 steamers of zilongbao, 2 steamers of shumai, 2 deep-fried dough sticks, 2 cups of tofu soup, and 2 herbal tea eggs. He bought quite a lot. Baya ate breakfast quietly. Gu Lingqing looked at her. Did I scare you yesterday? Baya didn't dare to answer. If she said she was scared, Gu Lingqing would definitely be angry. She said no, as if she was inviting him to continue. Are we going back in the afternoon? Baya skipped over his question and asked. Normally, we will go back in the afternoon, Gu Lingqing replied. I have to work tomorrow, Baya reminded him. Have you filled in the application form for working in the military? Baya paused. No one filled it for me. I'll go back and tell the hospital to handle it as soon as possible, Gu Lingqing said domineeringly. Baya leaned on the table, drinking the tofu soup and looking at him with her beautiful eyes. In fact, she didn't want to work in the military. In fact, she didn't want to marry him either. But why did it seem that she was led by the nose by him? There was no room for rejection at all. What exactly went wrong? Why are you looking at me like that? Gu Lingqing asked. Can I not work in the military? Baya asked. I can't. Gu Lingqing refused simply and neatly. What if I insist on not going? What do you think? Gu Lingqing asked back, his eyes sharpening. Baya sighed. She relied on Gu Lingqing to get her current job. One word from him and she would definitely lose her job. If she didn't go, she wouldn't know how to appreciate his kindness. He was giving her a promotion. Baya lowered her head and ate the soup dumplings. Gu Lingqing saw her disappointment and felt helpless. You really don't want to work in the military? If you come to my side, I can take care of you. No one will dare to bully you in the military. In fact, I'm very busy with work, so I don't have many chances to see you. If I work in the military, we can see each other every day. Baya was very touched when she heard that. She and Su Jiran had been married for 3 years. It wasn't that they didn't have the chance to see each other, but that Su Jiran didn't want to see her. That marriage had consumed all her energy and feelings. Gu Lingqing was like a poppy. She knew that if she ate too much, she would get addicted, and she might not be able to quit. However, before her rationality could reject her, she had already fallen into the trap again and again. She decided not to struggle anymore. She would give it a try. Baya took the initiative to kiss Gu Lingqing's lips. I'll apply. Her kiss was like a dragonfly touching the surface of the water. It couldn't satisfy him at all. This time, it was the first time she had truly compromised. Gu Lingqing was excited. He pressed the back of her neck and kissed her back. His red tongue entered her mouth. He lifted the tip of her tongue and entangled her like a pair of lotus flowers. Baya closed her eyes. His kiss deepened. It was so deep that his blood was boiling. His abdomen started to tighten again. He couldn't continue anymore, so he let go of her. Her lips were already swollen from his kiss, and they were dyed with a beautiful color. Gu Lingqing cleared his throat and changed the topic. Eat more. You're too skinny. I'll go take a shower. Okay, Baya replied. She lowered her head in embarrassment. When she saw him, she turned her face away even more embarrassedly. When he came out, she had finished her breakfast. I'll wait for you outside. Okay. Gu Lingqing actually agreed in a good mood. In the car. Gu Lingqing helped her with the navigation. Baya drove. If you don't like this car, I'll get you another one, Gu Lingqing said. It was a statement. There's no need for a car. My workplace is not far from the hospital, Baya blurted out. Gu Lingqing looked at her. There was a hidden sharpness in his deep eyes. He was a little angry. You're still living in Su Jiran's house? No, I'm living with Shuang Niu. She has a car. I take her car to work every day, Baya explained. How many rooms does she have? Gu Lingqing asked thoughtfully. 2. So, it's quite spacious for the two of us. Is the soundproofing good at her place? Gu Lingqing continued to ask. Baya, she seemed to have misunderstood. Did Gu Lingqing mean that he wanted to do something with her at Lu Shuang's place? No. Baya quickly replied and dispelled his thoughts. Chapter 58. Didn't you apply to go to the military? If you apply, the military will arrange accommodation for you. That way, you won't have to drive. Also, if I go out, I should be able to apply for a military car, right? Baya asked. Gu Lingqing nodded. I almost forgot about that. Soon, they arrived at Soldier 108's door. Before he entered the house, he could already hear the sounds of crying and arguing inside. Baya had a bad feeling. She unbuckled her seatbelt and followed Gu Lingqing in. Gold, put down the knife. If you die, what will I do? You're my only son, Soldier 108's mother cried. Gu Lingqing rushed into the room. Baya saw a man on the bed holding a knife to his neck. He was very emotional and his eyes were red. He had lost both his legs. Number 108, what are you doing? Put down the knife, Gu Lingqing said sternly. Number 108 saw the chief and paused. He didn't put down the knife. I'm useless now. What's the point of living? There are no cowards in the army. Even if your limbs are broken, you have no right to end your life, Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice and walked towards number 108. Number 108 raised his chin. The knife was about to enter his skin. Don't come over. I don't have legs. What can I do for the country? I don't want to be a burden to my wife. We've only been married for 3 months. She won't have a happy life in the future. Don't mention her. She already asked for a divorce. Why are you still thinking about her? Number 108's mother said sadly. Gu Lingqing had a rough idea of what was going on. After number 108's surgery, he strongly requested to leave the military hospital and go home. It was probably because of this wife. Now that his wife asked for a divorce, it must have triggered him. Where's his wife? Call her here, Gu Lingqing said coldly. Gold's wife refused to come. She said she won't come until the divorce is over. That ingrate. Other than the 200,000 betrothal gifts, it's almost all of our savings, number 108's mother said angrily and sadly. Where is she now? Gu Lingqing asked. She lives in Yellow Flower Village number 20. The village next door, number 108's mother said. Number 108, show me your courage. Don't let a woman look down on you. I'm going now, said Gu Lingqing sharply. Then, he turned around and walked out of the door. Baya followed suit. Isn't number 108's wife pregnant? Is she going to get a divorce even if she's pregnant? Let's take a look first. Gu Lingqing adjusted the navigation. The neighboring village was not far, and they arrived in 5 minutes. Gu Lingqing saw that the door was closed. He knocked on the door. An old lady opened the door. I'm leader Jin Zi. I'm here to see Jin Zi's wife. Gu Lingqing explained the purpose of his visit. Yaya doesn't want to see anyone, the old lady said with a troubled look. Didn't she want a divorce? I'm here to discuss these issues with her, Gu Lingqing said coldly. Let him in. The voice of the golden wife rang out. Gu Lingqing entered the room. Goldie's wife stood in front of Gu Lingqing. You are Goldie's leader. Yes. I want a divorce, the golden wife said directly. Just because he doesn't have legs doesn't mean he can't give you happiness. He came from the special forces, so he won't have any problems with his physical strength, Gu Lingqing said vaguely. Goldie's wife's eyes turned red. We've been married for 3 months. Other than spending time together on our wedding night, he hasn't gone home even once. Now he has time at home. You want me to accompany a man with a lower half of his body? I don't want to. People will laugh at me, Goldie's wife said firmly. Gu Lingqing looked at her deeply. You can't get a divorce in a military marriage unless the soldier has made a grave mistake. Your husband is a hero, a pillar of the country. You can't get a divorce. But he can die. If he dies, I'll be free. I'm only 21. There's no need to waste my youth on a useless person like him, Goldie's wife said coldly. Baya felt a chill in her heart. She looked at the stomach of Goldie's wife. Don't forget that you have a baby in your stomach. I've already aborted the baby. Why would I give a child to a useless person? If I give birth to his child, my life will be over, Goldie's wife said ruthlessly. Baya wanted to slap her. What she killed was her own flesh and blood. That kind of woman was not worthy of gold. What's the condition for you not to get a divorce? Gu Lingqing negotiated. You can mention it. Goldie's wife paused. How much can you compensate Goldie? How much do you want to compensate? Gu Lingqing asked. 2 million. It must be 2 million. I'll get a divorce even if it's a penny less, Goldie's wife said. I'll compensate Goldie 2 million. Also, I'll give his parents a pension. If you don't get a divorce, I'll give it to you too. Now, come with me to see Goldie. He needs you to take care of him. Also, I hope he can go to the military hospital for treatment, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice and turned around. When Goldie's wife heard that it was 2 million, she followed behind Gu Lingqing. Will you really compensate 2 million? I have no reason to lie to you, Gu Lingqing said coldly. Then we won't get a divorce. Goldie listens to me. I'll let him go to the military hospital, Goldie's wife changed her attitude. They drove back. When Goldie saw that his wife was back, he let go and the knife fell on the bed. All right, we won't get a divorce. Let's go to the military hospital for treatment. I'll take care of you, Goldie's wife said. Goldie smiled and looked at Gu Lingqing gratefully. Thank you, Chief. I'll arrange it. Someone will bring you to the hospital. Also, the compensation will be paid within a month. Take care of yourself, Gu Lingqing said simply and turned around to leave. In the car. Baya looked at Gu Lingqing with a heavy heart. She understood his feelings. Goldie was his soldier, so he should be very sad. Goldie's wife is not worthy of Goldie. Perhaps, there's nothing wrong with a divorce. Separation is a chance for everyone, Baya said with deep understanding. Goldie really cares about his wife. Even if she's not good, she's what he wants. I can't make a decision for Goldie because of my own opinion. All I can do is fulfill his wish, Xiaoya. Gu Lingqing looked at Baya and held her hand. Baya saw the pain that flowed through his eyes. What's wrong? A soldier's marriage can't be divorced. If we get married, we'll be together for the rest of our lives. I swear that I won't let you down in my life. In exchange, I'll let you follow me with your heart forever, Gu Lingqing said seriously. That's right. A soldier's marriage can't be divorced. If she was with him, it would be impossible for them to be separated. Because of her injury, she threw herself into someone's arms so quickly. Did she lack thinking? However, a soldier's discipline was very strong. If he was strict with himself, she would definitely not leave him. Chapter 59. They went back. I'll take you to the military area first. Baya asked. Let's go to your place first. I'll drive. The injury on my arm is almost healed, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice and sat in the driver's seat. Baya returned the key to him and sat in the front passenger seat. When it was almost noon, they returned to Lu Shuang's place. Baya got out of the car, and so did Gu Lingqing. Aren't you going to invite me in? Gu Lingqing asked. Since he had already asked, she was too embarrassed to refuse. She wondered if Lu Shuang was back. She opened the door. Lu Shuang wasn't back. Luckily, she had cleaned the house before, so it didn't look messy. She went to look for shoes to see if there were any for men. Gu Lingqing picked up the book she had left on the coffee table. Baiya wanted to grab it, but it was too late. She was learning Russian and copying his notes. Well, I dropped your book in the water and it's wrinkled. I want to give it back to you after I finish copying it, Baiya explained. I heard that you're learning Russian. Gu Lingqing asked, slowly flipping through the notes she had written. Baiya's handwriting was delicate, and every stroke was clear and not sloppy at all. Her handwriting was like her person. She was actually very rigid, traditional, serious, and serious. Baiya guessed that it was Lu Shuang who told her about it, so there was nothing to hide. I have that plan. It's a bit difficult for you to learn it alone. I'll teach you, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice and sat down on the sofa. Baiya sat down next to him embarrassedly. She was a little nervous and asked, Why do you want to learn Russian? His eyes dimmed a little. I was on a mission in Russia, and I found a local translator, but the translator deliberately made a mistake, which led to the death of a comrade. From that day on, I started to learn all kinds of languages. What about you? Why do you want to learn Russian? It's probably a coincidence. Baiya didn't want to tell him the reason. In fact, she was just trying to kill time, or maybe she was thinking of him. She thought that she and Gu Lingqing would never cross paths again, so she wanted to leave behind some beautiful memories. Gu Lingqing looked at her blushing face. Because of me? He, there's no special reason, Baiya said guiltily, not even daring to look him in the eye. Gu Lingqing looked at her shy look and his eyes became more charming. He lifted her chin and said, Actually, I want to teach you something else. His gaze moved from her beautiful big eyes to her red lips, and his eyes became misty. Remember, I will only teach you, and you can only have me as your teacher. Baiya knew what he was talking about. However, he didn't give her too much time to think and kissed her on the lips. He wasn't in a hurry to enter. His tongue lingered on her lips, moistening her heart, and then slowly entered her mouth. His hands unbuttoned her clothes, one button at a time. Baiya pushed him away. Didn't we agree to wait until after the divorce? Gu Lingqing let go of her. He couldn't control himself every time he was with her. He hated her current identity. Are you hungry? Let's go out and eat. Gu Lingqing changed the topic. Okay. Baiya quickly stood up and unbuttoned her shirt. They went out. Baiya had just gotten into Gu Lingqing's car when her phone rang. She took out her phone from her bag and saw that it was Su Jiran calling. She instinctively didn't want to answer it. She hung up. Su Jiran called again. Baiya adjusted herself and answered the call. What's up? Can't I call you if there's nothing? Su Jiran said evilly. I think you'll be very busy. I'll come to see you no matter how busy I am. Aren't you at home? Su Jiran looked at the window of Baiya's room. Baiya didn't want to chat with him. I'm staying at Lu Shuang's place. I have something to do. I'll hang up first. Baiya didn't wait for his reply and hung up. I don't think you should tell him where you're staying, Gu Lingqing said coldly. He'll know that he's a pervert even if I don't tell him. I'll tell him that I'm staying at Lu Shuang's place. He knows Lu Shuang's temper, so he won't do anything stupid, Baiya explained. I'll arrange a place for you tomorrow. I don't want him to have a chance to harass you, Gu Lingqing said domineeringly. Now that Su Jiran and Xing Jinyan were showing off their affection, she didn't think that Su Jiran would harass her again. However, seeing that Gu Lingqing had made up his mind, she didn't say anything. After dinner, Gu Lingqing drove her back. Well, you still have a lot of things to do in the military, like the gold, Baiya reminded him. He really should go back to the military for a meeting. I'll call you later, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Okay. Soon, he drove Baya downstairs. Baya unbuckled her seatbelt and got out of the car. Gu Lingqing followed her. Baya, he called. Baya looked at him. He didn't say anything. He lowered his head and kissed Baya's lips. Baya's heart was beating so fast that it felt like it was going to jump out of her throat. They were in broad daylight. It would be bad if someone saw them. She pushed him away. Gu Lingqing pinched her nose. Coward, you'll be fine when you stop being a coward. You, go back, Baya said, blushing. She turned around and walked to the elevator. Gu Lingqing's lips curled up slightly. He went back to the car and drove away. None of them noticed that there was a car in the dark. Su Jiran narrowed his eyes, and there was a dangerous coldness in them. When he saw that Gu Lingqing kissed Baya, and Baya didn't reject it, he felt very uncomfortable, as if someone had buried a thorn in his heart. He was jealous, and his face turned livid. When he thought that after he divorced Baya, Baya would blossom under Gu Lingqing, he couldn't stay calm anymore. He picked up his phone and made a call. Baya saw that the caller was still Su Jiran. She really didn't want to answer it, so she hung up. She took a shower and washed her clothes. When she thought of Gu Lingqing's kiss and what happened in the hotel, a strange feeling flowed in her heart. Half an hour later, a message rang on her phone. Baya saw that it was from Lu Shuang. I'm in room 1809 of Junkie Hotel. Come over quickly, I have something important to discuss. Baya was surprised. If Lu Shuang had something to talk to her about, why didn't he come back and tell her? Instead, he invited her to the hotel. Besides, Lu Shuang should have called her. Baya dialed Lu Shuang's number. Su Jiran sat on the sofa gloomily, playing with Lu Shuang's phone. When he saw that it was a call from Baya, he hung up. Lu Shuang was Baya's only friend. According to his understanding of her, no matter how suspicious she would definitely come back. Thinking of this, his eyes were overflowing with color. He got up and went to the bathroom to take a shower. Baya came to the door of room 1809. The more she thought about it, the more strange she felt. She was worried that something had happened to Lu Shuang. Before she came, she bought pepper spray and put it in her bag vigilantly. She rang the doorbell, and the door was opened. Chapter 60. Seeing that it was Su Jiran who opened the door, Baya was very surprised. She realized that something had happened to Lu Shuang. Where is Lu Shuang? Baya asked, looking behind Su Jiran. Su Jiran smiled wickedly and moved aside. Come in and talk. Baya saw him dressed like that and subconsciously held her bag tightly. There is no need to come in. Why is Lu Shuang's phone with you? Where is she? Seeing that she did not come in, Su Jiran picked up Lu Shuang's phone, opened the photo album, and handed it to Baya. Baya took the phone suspiciously. She saw the photo album on the phone. It was actually a nude photo of Lu Shuang. She widened her eyes in surprise. Keep looking, there are many more, Su Jiran said with a smile. He looked at her aggressively, but there was no smile in his eyes. Where is Lu Shuang? Where is she now? What did you do to her? Baya asked anxiously. I will give you 3 seconds to come in. After 3 seconds, I will post these photos on the internet. Su Jiran. You are despicable, Baya said angrily. You call this despicable? You are looking down on me. Su Jiran nodded and glanced at the room. The male lead is Shen Yan. As long as these photos are posted, even if Lu Shuang does not want to marry him, she will have to marry him. As far as I know, Shen Yan has more women than me. You've seen what he's like. Su Jiran said with a smile. Baya had no choice but to step into his room and said helplessly, What do you want? Su Jiran closed the door slowly. Hearing the door click, Baya's heart tightened and her back stiffened. He put his hand on her shoulder. The hairs on her body stood on end. Su Jiran seemed to be playing a psychological game. He leaned over and whispered in her ear, "There's no need for a month. I can tell you my decision now. I won't divorce." Baya glanced at Su Jiran. She was no longer calm. "Why don't you get a divorce? The person you love is Xing Jinyan, the person who made you spend so much money is also Xing Jinyan, and the person who is more compatible with you is Xing Jinyan. If you mind me spending a fortune for Xing Jinyan, I can also do the same for you. Two people who don't love each other living together will only make them more tired of each other," roared Baya. Su Jiran held her waist and pulled her closer. Baya pushed his chest. "Then fall in love again," Su Jiran ordered. "Impossible," Baya said with certainty. Su Jiran looked down at her with a murderous look in his sharp eyes. "I'll give you 1 day to break up with Gu Lingqing. Otherwise, I'll start with Lu Shuang." Su Jiran took back Lu Shuang's phone from Baya's hand and waved it. Baya's heart skipped a beat. Where is Lu Shuang now? He should have gone back. "I'll wait for your news tomorrow," said Su Jiran as he let go of Baya's hand. His eyes were full of disdain and coldness. Baya rushed out of Su Jiran's room and returned to Lu Shuang's place. Lu Shuang was really back. "Shuang, where have you been?" Baya asked worriedly. Lu Shuang shrugged. "I was bitten by a pig. I went to the hospital to have a full body checkup in case I got sick." "How could this happen?" Baya's eyes turned red. "It's all my fault. I was careless. When I was taking photos of Su Jiran and Xing Jinyan, I was discovered by Su Jiran. He's such a pervert. He took my phone and gave Shen Yan and me drugs. I'm so angry." Lu Shuang was annoyed. "Lu Shuang." Baya held Lu Shuang's hand tightly. "Should we sue him?" "Please don't. Shen Yan's identity is very special. I don't want to go for wool and come home shorn. It's fine to lose him once. If he wants me to marry him, he might as well kill me," said Lu Shuang impatiently. Baya's heart sank. She looked at Lu Shuang with pity. "I'm sorry, Xiao Bai. I wanted to help you get the evidence, but I was framed. Next time, I won't let Su Jiran go." "I promise," said Lu Shuang. Baya's eyes dimmed. Lu Shuang was in trouble because of her. She couldn't ruin Lu Shuang's reputation and force him to marry Shen Yan again. Lu Shuang's character was the complete opposite of hers. She could endure the hardships of life. But Lu Shuang couldn't. If Lu Shuang married someone he didn't love and couldn't get a divorce, it would be more painful than killing her. Lu Shuang was her only good friend. Tears flowed out of her eyes. They were warm and wet. Seeing Baya crying, Lu Shuang hurriedly comforted her. "Xiao Bai, don't cry. I'm fine. I'll just take it that I've slept with a skillful, handsome, and well-built young man. It's not a loss." Baya lowered her head and raised the corner of her mouth. She didn't want Lu Shuang to worry. Tears streamed down her cheeks. She knew that she was crying for her love with Gu Lingqing. It ended without a beginning. She was still crying for her fate. It seemed that God was always playing a joke on her. But at least, she had a clear conscience. She would never feel at ease for the rest of her life if she hurt Lu Shuang. How could she be happy? Her love should not be built on hurting others, especially her good friends. Crying and crying, Baya couldn't control herself. She sat on the sofa, buried her face in her palms, and cried out loud. Although Lu Shuang was careless, he also felt that something was wrong. "Xiao Bai, what's wrong? Su Jiran bullied you again, didn't he? I'll go and fight with him. He's a big jerk. He should get lost," Lu Shuang said angrily and walked towards the door. "Shuang Niu." Baya was worried about Lu Shuang. She was no match for Su Jiran. Su Jiran was from the health bureau. One word from him could make Lu Shuang's father step down. She didn't want Lu Shuang to be impulsive. It has nothing to do with Su Jiran. I'm sad about what happened between me and Gu Lingqing, Baiya explained. Oh, how are you and him? Lu Shuang asked with concern. Baiya shook her head and wiped the tears from the corner of her eyes. Nothing much. I want to treat him to dinner tonight. Can you give us some space? Of course, no problem. You should get close to Gu Lingqing and get rid of Su Jiran. Su Jiran is a scumbag among scumbags. At most, he can't change his scumbag nature, Lu Shuang said angrily. She felt that she was still quite clean and pure. In university, when her classmates were busy dating, she studied hard and worked part-time when she was free. She never dated, let alone had sex with men. Except for the time when she was raped, her second time was still there. She had been shaken and wanted to marry Gu Lingqing after the divorce. But now, she might not be able to get a divorce for the rest of her life. Su Jiran might even, she wanted to marry Gu Lingqing completely before she was tarnished. It could be a beautiful memory, a repayment, or an end. She didn't want to have any regrets. Chapter 61. Baiya plucked up her courage and called Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing, this is Baiya. I want to treat you to dinner tonight. Are you free? Baiya asked. Her eyes were already red. Yeah, I'll come over when I'm free, Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice. Baiya frowned. She turned her face away and hung up the phone before she revealed her emotions. Last time, she invited him to dinner because she wanted to make things clear to him. This time, they still couldn't go on. She felt uncomfortable. There was a pressure in her body that couldn't find an outlet. It was about to burn her up. She threw the phone on the floor. Lu Shuang heard the noise outside and walked out of the room. She saw that Baiya was not right. She asked worriedly, Xiao Bai, what's wrong? Is Gu Lingqing unwilling to come over? Baiya shook her head. She reached out and held Lu Shuang in her arms. She said in a choked voice, promise me that you will be happy in the future. Yeah, Xiao Bai, what happened? Don't scare me, Lu Shuang asked. He pushed Baiya away and looked at Baiya's eyes. Baiya smiled. She just wanted to bear all the bad things alone. If she told Lu Shuang, it would only make Lu Shuang sad and impulsive. It's nothing. I just felt something. I'll go out to buy groceries later. I can't stay with you. Baiya picked up the phone on the floor. Lu Shuang watched Baiya go out. Her figure was very lonely. He didn't know why, but he had a feeling that something big had happened. Baiya went to the supermarket. She remembered that Gu Lingqing couldn't eat lobster. She chose a crucian carp, fillet, beef tenderloin, green peppers, eggs, meat slices, carrots, tofu, and 2 bottles of wine. At the checkout counter, she took 2 boxes of Durex. After paying, she quickly put the Durex into her handbag. She went back and made a tofu crucian carp soup, braised pork ribs, a green pepper beef tenderloin, and carrot slices. She also minced some of the meat slices and made stewed eggs. After he was done, he took a shower and sat at the dining table in a daze. Gu Lingqing dealt with the military affairs as fast as he could and went to the place where Baiya was now. He knocked on the door, and Baiya opened it. A burst of rich aroma wafted into his nose. It had the warmth of home. He walked in, and Baiya closed the door. He grasped her arm, pulled her to him, leaned down, and kissed her lips. Baiya closed her eyes and didn't push him away. After today, they would really become 2 strangers. From now on, we will not contact each other again. She wanted to burn herself with all her might. Tonight, don't think about right or wrong. Gu Lingqing felt the wetness at the corner of his mouth and looked at Baiya in surprise. Why are you crying? Did I hurt you? Before she met him, she almost never cried. To her, tears were just a sign of weakness. Crying made her enemies happy and her loved ones in pain. However, when she thought about how they were going to be apart, her tears flowed uncontrollably. Baya shook her head and smiled like a pear blossom. You're early. Isn't the meal ready? Gu Lingqing wiped the tears at the corner of his eyes, kissed her on the cheek, and held her hand as they walked to the dining table. Baya sat down at the dining table and poured some red wine for them. Gu Lingqing tasted a piece of braised pork ribs. How is it? Baya wanted to know and asked. Very good, Gu Lingqing praised and ate another piece. Baya propped her head up, took a sip of wine, and looked at him in a daze. When they first met, he was so high and mighty, distant and noble. She didn't expect that they would have such a day. They ate together, tasted wine together, and were like lovers. Previously, he had forced her to the point that she couldn't breathe. When she was about to lose him, she realized that she was actually willing to be with him. People always cherish things after they have lost them. What they care about is always what they can't get and what they have lost. Gu Lingqing looked at Baya. Why are you looking at me like that? You're not eating. You're so handsome. Your eyebrows are beautiful, your eyes are beautiful, your nose is beautiful, and your lips are beautiful too, Baya said softly. Gu Lingqing was quite pleased with her compliment. Are you infatuated? Baya took a sip of red wine and held it in her mouth. The wine was bitter and astringent, just like her current mood. She stood up, moved her face closer to Gu Lingqing and kissed him on the lips. Gu Lingqing looked at her. The current Baya was a little special. She was much more passionate than usual. Do you want it? Gu Lingqing asked. There was an additional layer of fantasy in his eyes as he looked at her. Baya replied, not denying it. Gu Lingqing only felt a stream of hot blood starting from his brain and rushing to his abdomen. Her destroyed all his rationality, forbearance, and reserve. Gu Lingqing pressed the back of her head and deepened the kiss. He entered her mouth and pulled her into his arms. Baya hugged the back of his neck and kissed him back. Their breaths intertwined in the air and landed on each other's faces. To her, Gu Lingqing was like the sun, emitting heat and falling on her cold skin. She longed for the sun to drive away the coldness in her heart. But she was also worried that if she got too close, she would burn herself. Baya kissed along his lips to his Adam's apple. She tangled with his rolling for a while, and her fingers trembled as she unbuttoned his suit. Gu Lingqing carried her up. Is that room yours? The one on the left. Aren't you going to shower? Baya asked, her face turning red. Together? Gu Lingqing asked, his voice a little hoarse. I've just showered. You can shower. I put a towel in the bathroom. It's the one I used before. I've washed it, it's clean, Baya said gently. Gu Lingqing smiled and put her on the bed. I don't mind you. He walked into the bathroom. When Baya heard the sound of water, her heart beat extremely fast. She exhaled, and exhaled again. She pulled the curtains down and put the condoms in her bag on the table. After thinking for a while, she took off her clothes, put them on the bedside table, and crawled under the blanket. She still felt nervous. She was also 24 years old, reaching the age where women were more important. She had been in an empty house for 3 years, and her husband had cheated on her a few times. She shouldn't feel guilty. She shouldn't feel constrained either. Baya kept convincing herself and numbing herself. Soon, she might not be able to withstand the torture and die. Before she died, if she didn't have something with Gu Lingqing, she wouldn't be able to rest in peace. Thinking of this, she calmed down a lot. Gu Lingqing came out of the bathroom with a towel wrapped around his waist, revealing his chocolate-like abs. He walked towards Baya. His figure was too burly, and Baya didn't dare to look at him, so she buried her face in the blanket. Gu Lingqing sat on the bed, lifted the blanket, and revealed his face. Chapter 62. Baiya nodded. She had thought it through very clearly. She lowered her head. Her long eyelashes left a silhouette at the corner of her eyes. Still shadow-sinking jade was so beautiful. There was a surge of emotions in his heart, flowing into his blood. He rolled over and pulled the covers off her. She was like a holy white jade, her skin was smooth and transparent, and her stomach was flat. She was as beautiful as a forest elf. He looked down at her and kissed her lips, her neck, her collarbone, and down her beautiful curves. Baiya let out a soft moan. She wasn't too sure about that feeling, but she felt that wherever Gu Lingqing passed by, there would be waves of indescribable feelings. He was more meticulous than she had imagined. Usually, he was domineering, not giving her any breathing space. But this time, he was very gentle, patient, and not in a hurry. He was also afraid that he would hurt her, making her afraid and resistant. Gu Lingqing placed his hand on her knee and lowered his head. Baiya's muscles were tense, and she clenched her fists. She didn't know that she could do this, and her voice became sharper. No, Gu Lingqing can't do this. Under his touch, she became more and more excited, until Gu Lingqing heard her crying voice and guessed that she had done it. Baiya felt embarrassed, and she turned her face away, not daring to look at him. Gu Lingqing smiled, held her chin, and made her look at him. Not bad, he said. Baiya's eyes flickered, and she responded, Gu Lingqing laughed happily. Her acknowledgement made him happier than winning a battle. He kissed her slowly, letting her get used to it. 3 years ago, he was controlled by the drug, and he was very rough and barbaric. He should have made her suffer for the first time. With guilt and the intention to make it up to her, he kissed her lips very slowly this time. Baiya felt the pain, and her face paled. The first time in her memory brought her nothing but pain. Actually, she really didn't understand why those women liked to have sex with Su Jiran so much. It obviously didn't feel good. Could it be because of love? Baiya gasped. She did not cry out in pain. Even her cries of surprise were suppressed. But Gu Lingqing knew that she was in pain. Xiaoya, relax. I won't hurt you. I promise, I'll be responsible for you. Gu Lingqing tried his best to comfort her. Baiya stared at him. Because it was him, she gradually relaxed. She still remembered the first time she saw him. He told her that as long as he was alive, nothing would happen to her. The second time, because of him, she was drunk, but she was safe and sound. He even gave her a set of cosmetics. The third time they met, she had helped him pretend to be his girlfriend, and he had protected her from injury. At that time, she had felt that he was so manly. And then there was the 4th, 5th, and 6th meeting. He always protected her. In the future, they might not meet again. Even if they did, they could only treat each other as strangers. Baiya wrapped her arms around his waist and pulled him to her side. Even if it was painful, she was willing to bear it. She took the initiative to kiss Gu Lingqing. She closed her eyes and felt that he was now in her world, bearing everything that he had given her. Gradually, the expected pain was no longer there. Instead, she felt very comfortable. She let go of him and looked at him attentively. Panting, sinking, panting again, sinking again, half an hour later, Gu Lingqing held her in his arms. Only then did she remember that none of them had worked. It seemed that she should go and buy medicine. Baiya did not move in his arms. She quietly enjoyed the last warmth. He kissed her on the forehead. Thank you, Xiaoya, Gu Lingqing said in a good mood. Baiya looked at him. Thank you for giving yourself to me. Gu Lingqing smiled. When he smiled, he was very charming. She did not want to say cruel words at this time. She was too greedy for the happiness now. Baiya hugged Gu Lingqing and buried her face in his arms. She took a deep breath, and her nose was filled with his refreshing smell, like the smell of the sun on the grass. She wanted to remember him forever. She fell asleep. Maybe it was too warm now, or maybe she was too tired after the exercise. She fell asleep. When she woke up, it was already dark. Gu Lingqing was not by her side. She was a little flustered and shouted, "Gu Lingqing. What's wrong?" Gu Lingqing pushed the door open, turned on the light, and walked to her worriedly. "Did you have a nightmare?" "I thought you left," Baya said softly and sat up with the quilt covering her. "I was dealing with some work. I was afraid that it would disturb you, so I went outside to deal with it," Gu Lingqing explained. "You must be hungry. I'll go heat up the food for you." Baya took her clothes. He helped her button up. "Let's go together. I can't bear to let you work in the kitchen alone." Baya's heart skipped a beat. She felt the feeling of being cherished by Gu Lingqing. Actually, this was how a husband should be, wasn't it? Cooking together, doing housework together, chatting together, sleeping together, everything together. Baya's eyes reddened a little. She was afraid that Gu Lingqing would see through her emotions, so she lowered her head and pretended to look for her shoes. Gu Lingqing bent over, found her slippers, and put them on for her. Baya put on a long dress and followed him out. Gu Lingqing came in with the dishes, and she heated them up. "If only I could eat your cooking every day." Gu Lingqing sighed. "I don't really like the food prepared by the military." Baya looked at Gu Lingqing, pursed her lips, and did not say a word. Gu Lingqing tapped her nose. "You don't want to? Then I'll learn and cook for you." "Ha!" Baya chuckled and skipped the topic. After a while, they heated up the dishes and ate together. "I've already found a lawyer. I'll send a lawyer's letter to Su Jiran starting tomorrow." "You can leave within a week," Gu Lingqing said. Baya lowered her head and did not say a word. "After you get divorced, I'll bring you home to meet my parents. Don't worry, even if they don't agree, I'll still marry you." "They can't order me around," Gu Lingqing promised. Baya's heart ached, and her tears dripped into the bowl. She ate it with the rice. "I'm going to find a good day to get married next month. Since I've already decided, I don't want any undue delays." Gu Lingqing was in a good mood today, and it was rare for him to talk so much. Baya closed her eyes, and held the chopsticks tightly, as if she was going to break them. "Gu Lingqing." Baya raised her head and looked at him. Her eyes were red, and they were filled with tears. Gu Lingqing saw her like this, and his eyes were filled with pity. His fingertips brushed the corners of Baya's eyes. "Did I say anything wrong?" Baya clenched her teeth. Her heart was so sad, as if it was weighed down by 1,000 pounds. She could no longer bear it, and the weight of 1,000 pounds had crushed her heart. "I've actually been playing with you," Baya said resolutely, and her tears flowed uncontrollably. Chapter 63. From the beginning, I only loved my husband, Su Jiran. I got together with you to provoke him, so I never thought about getting a divorce, Baya said in one breath. She raised her chin and was very determined. Gu Lingqing looked at her face. "I don't believe it. If what you said is true, why are you crying? If you only love your husband, what did we do just now mean?" Gu Lingqing looked at her fiercely. "I cried because I don't know if what I did was right or wrong. I slept with you because you helped me a lot, and I can't repay you. I know that you always wanted to sleep with me, so I used this way to repay you." Baya sniffled and did not dare to look at Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing narrowed his eyes and looked at Baya. "I'm only giving you one chance now. Tell me, is what you said true? I don't believe that you don't have feelings for me. Chief Gu, you're tall, handsome, have a good figure, and have supreme power. No matter what kind of woman she is, she will have feelings for you. I'm just an ordinary woman, but I know what I want." Baya raised her head and looked straight at Gu Lingqing. Since it had already started, she could not end it. She could only bite the bullet and carry on to the end. What do you want? Gu Lingqing asked. Her chest was moving up and down violently because she was not calm, and her eyes were sharper. I want to get Su Jiran. I want to take back everything that I lost. Love, marriage, family. Before Baya could finish, Gu Lingqing smashed the bowl on the ground and looked at her fiercely. You want me to stop disturbing you and leave your life completely? Yes. Baya said firmly, let's end it here today. I should also return to my family. In the future, stay away from women like me. Baya walked to the door and opened it. Please get out. Don't come back here again. If we meet again, pretend that we don't know each other. Gu Lingqing coldly stood up and looked at her with a deep gaze. There was pain in his eyes. He didn't believe that her shyness and tenderness in bed were fake. He didn't believe that Su Jiran, who was such a scumbag, would still want to stay by his side. He didn't believe that she was telling the truth. He really didn't believe that her sudden change was just because she had enough fun. Have you ever liked me? Gu Lingqing asked in a cold voice, his gaze scrutinizing her eyes, as if he could see through her like an X-ray. Nope. We're all adults, and we're just playing around. Now that my husband doesn't want to divorce me, I also choose to rein in the horse before it's too late. Baya choked and said, trying not to cry out loud. Gu Lingqing approached her. His aura was too strong. Baya turned her face away. Gu Lingqing stood in front of her. Your husband doesn't want to divorce you, so you think that you can't get a divorce, so you gave yourself to me and are ready to break up with me, right? I don't know what you're talking about. Baya refused to look at him. I'll definitely get him to divorce me. Don't you believe me? Gu Lingqing looked at her helplessly. It wasn't that she didn't believe her, but she knew Su Jiran's character too well. Let's go. Baya turned her back to him. She couldn't hold back her tears and they flowed out. She returned to her room and locked the door. The room was still filled with Gu Lingqing's scent. But she had chased the person she wanted to keep the most out of her world. She closed the only window, leaving only cold and darkness in her world. Baya leaned against the door and squatted down. She wrapped her arms around her ankles and buried her face in her knees. She suppressed her voice and cried. Gu Lingqing stared at the door of Baya's room. He definitely didn't believe that what she said was true. He walked out and closed the door. He came down from the elevator and called Lu Shuang. What happened to Baya? Gu Lingqing asked directly. You also think that something happened to Baya, right? I don't know, but I think something must have happened to Baya. Her emotions are very abnormal. Lu Shuang told Gu Lingqing his thoughts. Help me ask what happened. No matter what it is, I can solve it. Do you understand? Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Okay, I'll tell you immediately after I know. Are you leaving now? If you leave, I'll go back. Baya said that she would treat you to a meal and asked me not to stay at home. Okay, go back and accompany her. Call me immediately if anything happens, Gu Lingqing said. He turned around and looked at Baya's room. She had turned off the lights. He absolutely believed that she must have had her difficulties. Lu Shuang thought about it. Could it have something to do with her? She and Shen Yiyan had sex. She was in a daze and couldn't remember anything. When she woke up, she and Shen Yiyan were not wearing any clothes. Moreover, her phone was missing. She went to the mobile office to get a new card and bought a new phone. Could it be that the problem was with the previous phone? The more Lu Shuang thought about it, the more he felt that the problem was with her. She went back and turned on the lights. Baya was sitting on the sofa drinking red wine. Her face was red and she was a little drunk. Her eyes were red and swollen, and her face was full of tears. Xiao Bai, what on earth happened? Why did you drink so much? Lu Shuang snatched the red wine from Baya's hands. Cool cow, give me the wine. I feel a little sad today. I'll be happy after I finish drinking. Tomorrow, I'll forget everything about my life. Baya snatched the wine back. Lu Shuang put the wine bottle behind him. Tell me clearly. Why are you sad? What are you forgetting? What are you happy about? Baya didn't want to say it. Give me the wine. What did Su Jiran force you to do? Does he not want to get a divorce? He's such a scumbag. How could he be so despicable? He has Xing Jinyan and so many beautiful women, and he still wants to hold you back. Lu Shuang was very agitated. I'll find a few people to settle the score with him. She threw the wine bottle into the dustbin and walked towards the door. Don't go. Baya shouted. Either you tell me what happened now, or I'll beat Su Jiran to death. Sister, go visit me in prison. I'm not joking with you, Lu Shuang said impulsively. Baya didn't say anything. Lu Shuang picked up the stick beside the door, opened the door and went out. He took a video of you and Shiniyen, Baya said helplessly. Lu Shuang turned around in surprise and looked at Baya. You're saying that Su Jiran, that bastard, drugged me and Shiniyen, and even took a video of me and Shiniyen? Is he courting death? Chapter 64. I'll kill them and then I'll kill myself. I, Lu Shuang, won't let them lead me by the nose, Lu Shuang said angrily. Can you stop being so impulsive? Lu Shuang pushed Baya away. Baya staggered back a few steps and fell to the ground. Lu Shuang's heart skipped a beat. He held Baya's hand worriedly. Baya shook off Lu Shuang's hand. Her eyes were red and she said anxiously, if you kill them, what about your parents? What about me? I'll die with you, okay? Lu Shuang knew that he was impulsive. He knelt down beside Baya and said apologetically, I'm sorry, Xiao Bai. I've hurt you. Baya knew that Lu Shuang meant well. She couldn't blame him. Shuang girl, just pretend that nothing happened. I'll handle it, Baya said in a deep voice. What are you going to do? Su Jiran said that as long as I don't divorce and break up with Gu Lingqing, he won't put these things on the internet. What does Su Jiran want to do? He already has Xing Jinyan, Lu Shuang said anxiously. Baya calmed down. He probably felt that his toy was taken away, so he took action to vent his anger. What about you and Gu Lingqing? If you don't divorce, you won't be able to be with Gu Lingqing, Lu Shuang said guiltily. Thinking of Gu Lingqing, Baya's heart ached. Some things are called fate. If you don't have it, you'll lose it in the future even if you insist on it now. I'll explain it to him now. Lu Shuang stood up. Baya held her arm. What's the use of explaining it to him? If I don't divorce, do you want him to cheat on me? That will hurt him. Promise me, don't tell him about it. Then what should we do? We can't let him misunderstand. Maybe he has a solution. Lu Shuang was so anxious that he was about to cry. Promise me, Baya said firmly and tightened his grip on her arm. Lu Shuang pursed his lips and said nothing. You want to see me die, don't you? Baya's eyes were misty. Lu Shuang was afraid that Baya would die. Okay, I promise you, I won't tell Gu Lingqing. Baya loosened his grip and returned to his room. She couldn't sleep that night. Lu Shuang couldn't sleep, and so did Gu Lingqing. In the morning, Lu Shuang entered the office with dark circles under his eyes. She saw Gu Lingqing waiting for her in her office. Her eyes flashed with surprise. However, when he recalled Baya telling him not to tell him, his eyes dimmed again. Why did you come to see me? Lu Shuang asked. Gu Lingqing examined Lu Shuang's expression and asked directly, what problem is Baya facing now? Lu Shuang wanted to say something but stopped. She thought she was being selfish. She thought that Baya was suffering too much. If Baya stayed with a scumbag like Su Jiran for the rest of her life, she wouldn't be able to live. She didn't want to be in Baya's hands anymore. Chief Gu, actually, Baya really needs your help. Shuang, do me a favor. Baya opened the door and saw Gu Lingqing standing in Lu Shuang's office. She was slightly stunned and saw Lu Shuang's panicked face. She realized why Gu Lingqing was looking for Lu Shuang. I think I made it very clear yesterday. Why are you here? Baya said to Gu Lingqing coldly. Baya, don't be like this. Lu Shuang didn't want Baya to fall out with Gu Lingqing. Baya's sharp gaze landed on Lu Shuang's face. It was the first time Lu Shuang saw the anger in Baya's eyes. She was slightly stunned and swallowed all the words she wanted to say. She stood aside. Gu Lingqing sensed something was wrong. She lowered her stance and asked softly, "What problem are you facing? Tell me and I can help you." "Why do I need your help with my problem? Who are you to me? Besides, I don't have any problem," Baya said decisively and opened the door. "Please leave. I have business to talk to Lu Shuang. I've kissed you, touched you, and slept with you. Who do you think I am to you?" Gu Lingqing was also a little angry. Lu Shuang opened his eyes wide in surprise. It turned out that Baya had slept with Chief Gu. Baya was a good girl. Baya turned her face away. "I made it very clear yesterday that I've been playing with your feelings. Just take it as a one-night stand. I was just too lonely, so I did something wrong. I only love my husband." "Baya, that's not what you think," Lu Shuang explained anxiously. Baya frowned and looked at Lu Shuang angrily. "I'm telling the truth. Didn't you bet with me whether he would sleep with me or not? Can't you afford to lose the 500 yuan? I even promised you." "Baya." Lu Shuang looked at Baya, discrediting him. Baya raised her chin and looked at Gu Lingqing. "Do you still remember that club? It was the time when I was drunk. It wasn't a chance encounter. Shuang Niu brought me to look for a man on purpose." "Don't say that." Lu Shuang wanted to cry. "It's not like that. The truth is that my husband has changed, and so have I. I won't get a divorce, and I don't want anyone to affect our relationship as husband and wife. Can you let me go?" Baya said in a choked voice. Her cold eyes drowned all her real thoughts in her eyes. Gu Lingqing didn't believe her. She looked at Lu Shuang. Did Su Jiran change his mind? Why would that scumbag change his mind? Lu Shuang blurted out. "Gu Lingqing, don't tell me you've really fallen in love with a married woman like me?" Baya interrupted. "What's her problem?" Gu Lingqing ignored Baya and asked Lu Shuang directly. Lu Shuang looked at Baya and then at Gu Lingqing. "I was raped 3 years ago, and I'm pregnant," Baya said coldly. Gu Lingqing looked at Baya in surprise. He was completely shocked. "You're pregnant?" "Yes, Gu Lingqing. Don't mess with a woman like me anymore. We're in heaven and on earth. We're not suitable. Where's the child?" Gu Lingqing continued to ask. Lu Shuang raised his chin. "I don't need to report to you about my matters." Gu Lingqing clamped Baya's chin. "I say, where's the child?" Baya turned her face away and bit her lip so hard that it bled. Lu Shuang felt sorry for Baya. She compromised. "Baya, you win. I'm willing to accept the 500 yuan. When I told him that you needed help, he looked so stupid. He thought that you really had a problem last night." Lu Shuang smiled. Baya looked at Lu Shuang. "I told you that he's in love with me. That's all there is to him, Chief." Gu Lingqing scrutinized Baya's beautiful face. He saw the disdain in Baya's eyes, as well as the mockery of love. For a moment, he didn't seem to know her. Baya didn't dare to look at the pain in Gu Lingqing's eyes. He was afraid that he would suffocate from the heartache. Chapter 65. You let Su Jiran touch you? Gu Lingqing's eyes turned cold. His eyes were like an icy lake, desolate and cold. Baiya lowered his eyes. His long eyelashes covered the fluctuation in his eyes. Lu Shuang looked at Baiya nervously. All men would care about this. If Baiya admitted it, then the relationship between her and Gu Lingqing would be over. She really hoped that Baiya could deny it. Baiya uttered a word from his throat. Pain flowed through Gu Lingqing's eyes. It merged into his boundless eyes and became obscure. After sleeping with me, you slept with Su Jiran? Gu Lingqing asked coldly. His face was livid. There was no warmth at all. Baiya closed his eyes. There was bitterness and sadness in his eyes. You can leave now. Gu Lingqing said in despair. He walked out of Lu Shuang's office without a trace of reluctance. Tears flowed out of Baiya's eyes. She could not bear to part with him, could she be heartbroken, and could do nothing about it. Finally, she tried her best to drive away the last trace of warmth. Her heart was about to suffocate. Her breath was thin. Seeing Baiya's tears, Lu Shuang's heart also ached. He had known Baiya for so many years. He had never seen Baiya cry so sadly. Baiya, I can see that he likes you. He came to me on his own initiative. I know how much he cares about you. Why are you so heartless? Lu Shuang asked confusedly. Baiya cried quietly. Why don't I call him back and tell him? Lu Shuang's voice was also choked. He passed the tissue to Baiya. Baiya blew her nose and looked at Lu Shuang. Her eyes gradually became clear. Listen, never let Gu Lingqing know the truth. Otherwise, my efforts today will be in vain. If you tell Gu Lingqing, you won't be my friend anymore. I don't understand. Isn't it good to let him solve your problem? It's better than being alone and helpless. Lu Shuang felt sorry for Baiya. What if I can't solve it? What do you think I can give him? He was a soldier with a bright future. He might even become a national leader in the future. Being with me would only be a stain on his political career. I didn't want to wait for him to blame me 10 years later. I didn't want him to leave me completely. Life is good for everyone, Baiya said rationally. Maybe he can solve it. I can't gamble with his future. Baiya paused. Her eyelashes trembled and she added, because I like him. She cried again when she said the last sentence. She had been struggling, rejecting, and pushing him away because she didn't understand her own thoughts. She wanted to start, but she was afraid to start. She didn't see her heart clearly until they were about to separate. She liked him. However, she could only be submerged in the dust of time. Baiya's phone rang. She saw that it was Su Jiran's number. She frowned and answered it. Are you ready? Su Jiran asked hurriedly. I'll come out later. Baiya hung up the phone, wiped her tears, and went back to the topic. I asked for leave today, but I have a pregnant woman who will have an operation in the morning. Please take my place. No problem. Lu Shuang asked worriedly, who called? Su Jiran. I'll go to his mother's house with him later. I'll go first. Baiya lowered her head and turned to leave. Lu Shuang looked at Baiya's frail back and felt very sad. She should have done something. She shouldn't have waited for death. Lu Shuang walked out of the hospital and saw Su Jiran's car. He leaned against the car door with a cigarette between his slender fingers. The smoke obscured his face, making it hard to see what he was thinking. Baiya walked up to him. Su Jiran narrowed his eyes. Why are you crying? Does it have anything to do with you? Baiya said coldly. She opened the back door, sat in the seat, closed her eyes, and pretended to sleep. Su Jiran got in the car and looked at Baiya in the rearview mirror. He felt suffocated. You won't visit your mother-in-law with this face, will you? You don't have to take me there. Baiya didn't even open her eyes. Do you know what it means if I take you there? Su Jiran was a little annoyed. No matter what it means, it doesn't mean much to me. Baya said indifferently. Su Jiran stopped the car and turned to look at her. Are you going to treat me with this attitude for the rest of your life? Baya opened her eyes and looked at him coldly. It's too long to waste my life on people like you. He threw the jewelry box on her and ordered, put it on. Baya looked at the murderous look in his eyes and opened the box. There was an emerald bracelet inside. This bracelet is worth 5 million. You won't be able to earn this much money in your whole life as a doctor. Now I'm giving it to you. Su Jiran said arrogantly. I'm sorry, but the hospital doesn't allow me to wear bracelets. Baya didn't want it at all. She closed the jewelry box and threw it to the side. Her action angered him. Su Jiran got out of the car and opened the back door. He opened the jewelry box and took out the jade bracelet. He held Baya's hands tightly and put the bracelet on. The size of the jade bracelet was very small. It was not her size at all. It was very painful when she put it on, and the skin on the back of her hands was scratched. Su Jiran was really powerful. Baya tried to pull it off, but she couldn't. She was also angry and threw it at the car window. Su Jiran held her wrist. Go ahead and throw it. 5 million. Don't leave me a single cent. I want you to work for me for the rest of your life. Baya pursed her lips. She was so angry that her hands were trembling. Su Jiran slammed the door and got into the driver's seat. He accelerated the car to 180 kilometers per hour and sped on the road. Baya clenched her fists so tightly that her nails were digging into her palms. Su Jiran saw that Baya didn't say anything, so he said, My mother was born in a scholarly family. She likes girls who are well educated and obedient. You will be with your mother-in-law for the rest of your life. Put away your pride, it will be good for you. I've been married for 3 years, and this is the first time I see my mother-in-law. I'm really a special daughter-in-law. Baya laughed at herself. So you should know what today means. I'm starting to acknowledge your identity, Baya. Su Jiran said arrogantly. Baya looked at his devilishly charming face coldly. He admitted that she didn't care at all. Let me remind you, Gu Lingqing's mother lives in the same villa area as my mother. I'll pretend that I don't know about your past with Gu Lingqing. Don't bring it up again. Otherwise, it will only make things awkward for both of us, Su Jiran said meaningfully. There was a flash of light in his dark eyes. Baya looked down. Gu Lingqing's face flashed in her mind. He would live well without her. Chapter 66. Su Jiran brought Baya to the place where Su Jiran's mother lived. Remember to greet her. Su Jiran reminded her. He unbuckled his seatbelt and got out of the car. He took out the lilies and a fruit basket from the trunk. He handed the lilies to Baya. My mom likes this kind of flower. She likes to eat bland food and likes a well-behaved daughter-in-law. Baya did not take it. She turned her face away. I'm really sorry. I was born to be well-behaved. A sharp light flashed across Su Jiran's eyes. He warned her arrogantly, Baya, don't forget that I can send you and your good friend to hell at any time. Baya's lips twitched. She took the flowers from Su Jiran's hand. Other than threatening and despicable, what else do you have? Su Jiran saw the disdain in her eyes. He held her chin. You just have to remember that those who obey me will prosper, and those who oppose me will perish. Baya looked down and sneered. Su Jiran pulled Baya into the house. Young master is back. The housekeeper quickly took a pair of slippers from the shoe rack and placed them in front of Su Jiran. She then took a pair of disposable slippers from the bottom of the shoe rack and placed them in front of Baya. Mom! Su Jiran called out. He passed the flowers and the fruit basket to the housekeeper. He gripped Baya's arm tightly as if he was going to break it. With a warning tone, he lowered his voice and said, "Greet her." Baya looked at the dignified woman on the sofa. Xiong Dani was flipping through a book elegantly. Because she had taken good care of herself, she looked like she was in her 40s. She had a good temperament and self-restraint. "Mom!" Baya called out. Xiong Dani glanced at Baya and placed the book on the coffee table. "Didn't I tell you not to bring her to see me?" Su Jiran walked over and sat beside Xiong Dani. He put his arm around Xiong Dani's thin shoulders and said, "An ugly daughter-in-law has to meet her parents-in-law eventually. I'm afraid that if I have too many daughters-in-law, I might not be able to recognize faces." Xiong Dani said coldly. She looked at Baya's wrist and frowned. "Is that bracelet the one I like?" "I let her try it on. She bought it just to show her respect to you," Su Jiran said and looked at Baya. "Xiaoya, give the bracelet to Mom. She can feel your sincerity. That's enough. That bracelet is worth more than 5 million. How could a doctor have so much money? Do you think I don't know who bought it? Use soap in the bathroom. Don't ruin my jade bracelet," Xiong Dani said arrogantly. Baya found it funny and laughed. She didn't even try to hide the disdain in her eyes. She walked into the bathroom. Xiong Dani gave the housekeeper a look and the housekeeper followed her in immediately. "Young madam, this is for you." The housekeeper passed the hand sanitizer to Baya. Baya squeezed out the sanitizer and applied it on her hands. The housekeeper picked up a towel and wiped the bottle of sanitizer. Baya frowned and looked at her. "What do you mean?" "I'm sorry. Madam is a neat freak," the housekeeper explained awkwardly. How could someone who loves cleanliness give birth to Su Jiran? How ironic. Baya took off the bracelet and placed it on the sink. The housekeeper cleaned it immediately. Baya walked out of the bathroom. "Is that kind of woman good enough for you? I wouldn't even want Xing Jinyan to see me, let alone Xing Bachuan's daughter," Xiong Dani scolded. Yes. Mom is right. I've already married her. She can't become a wife just because of her husband." Su Jiran coaxed Xiong Dani with a smile. "What kind of taste do you have? She's an obstetrician. She's always breaking her abdomen. Who knows how much blood her hands are stained with? It's disgusting to think about it." "I've spoiled you too much," Xiong Dani said in disgust. She looked at Baya and said, "When are you leaving? I'm afraid it'll get dirty here." "What if you're hungry?" "You can disinfect it if it gets dirty," Su Jiran said to Xiong Dani. "Madam." The housekeeper came out with the jade bracelet. "Put it in the UV box and bring it to me tomorrow," Xiong Dani ordered. Baya smiled. Su Jiran and his mother were birds of a feather. They were both weirdos. Did he think she was dirty? Baya walked towards Su Jiran with a cold glint in her eyes and held Su Jiran's hand. Her hands were dirty. If she could, why didn't she disinfect Su Jiran too? Xiong Dani took a wet towel from the coffee table and handed it to Su Jiran. She said to Baya, "Since you've married into our family, you have to follow our rules." Su Jiran took the wet towel from Xiong Dani and wiped his hands cooperatively. "What rules?" Baya asked, her fingers tracing the shape of Su Jiran's face. Su Jiran realized Baya's intention and held Baya's hand. "Stop it." Xiong Dani was even more disgusted with Baya. She ordered, "First, quit your current job. As the daughter-in-law of the Su family, you don't have to show your face in public. You won't be able to earn back a jade bracelet in your lifetime. Second, you can't be jealous. It's inevitable for your husband to socialize outside. You have to be patient. It's normal for you to play along. Third, you'll inevitably go out to socialize. If you lose your etiquette, you'll lose the face of the Su family. From now on, I'll hire a teacher to teach you. Fourth, I'm afraid of getting dirty. You have to be clean. I'll arrange the rest for you. You have to memorize it. Don't make any mistakes. Do you understand? I'm sorry, I can't do that. A mother-in-law like you can marry anyone who wants it. Baya stood up. What do you mean? Xiong Dani widened her eyes and looked at Baya in disbelief. I mean exactly what I said. Baya walked towards the door. Stop right there, Jiran. What kind of person did you find? Xiong Dani said angrily. Su Jiran didn't expect Baya to be so angry. He grabbed Baya's arm and ordered, apologize to Mom. I didn't do anything wrong. Why should I apologize? Baya's face was cold. She wanted to pull her hand out. Su Jiran held it so tightly that she couldn't pull her hand out. I brought you here so that my mother will acknowledge you, not so that you can anger my mother. When I say apologize, I'll count to 3 and you can disobey me as much as you want. Su Jiran said sternly. His eyes were as sharp as a knife. Baya's chest heaved violently. She glared at Su Jiran and pursed her lips. The atmosphere was terrifyingly tense. If there was nothing left in this world, only despair and a hellish life, she might as well just die. If she died, it would be useless even if Su Jiran had something on Lu Shuang. He didn't have to go against Lu Shuang and offend Her Highness. Auntie, my dad asked me to invite you to my house for dinner. Su Shaoling walked in. She froze when she saw Baya. She asked defensively, why are you here? Baya also looked at Su Shaoling in surprise. Chapter 67. 3 years ago, she forced Su Jiran to marry her. The church was bustling with noise and excitement, but none of the people who came were their relatives. Su Jiran had spent 50 yuan to invite each of them to sit down. She had never met Su Jiran's relatives. She knew nothing about Su Jiran. It turned out that Su Jiran and Su Shaoling were cousins. He and Su Changhao were also cousins. Su Changhao was Gu Lingqing's good friend. Their families all lived in the same villa area. What kind of fate was this? She was just a commoner. She shouldn't be mingling with the children of high-ranking officials. With Su Shaoling as a buffer, Su Jiran hugged Baya's shoulder tightly and smiled wickedly. Aren't you going to call me sister-in-law? Sister-in-law. Su Shaoling was even more shocked. Cousin, when did you get married? Su Shaoling pointed at Baya. She wanted to say something but stopped. If Baya was Su Jiran's wife, then Baya and Gu Lingqing were nothing. As expected, Gu Lingqing was acting with other women in front of her. Thinking of this, Su Shaoling was in a good mood. She's a good match for you. My boyfriend is coming to my house for dinner today. His family is coming too. You, sister-in-law, and aunt should come too. We'll be relatives in the future. Boyfriend? Gu Lingqing. Su Jiran asked with a smile. Cousin, you know that I only like him. Now that the clouds have parted and the moon has come to light, he has accepted me. Su Shaoling deliberately said in front of Baya. Baya lowered her eyes. Her long eyelashes covered the emotions in her eyes. She thought that she wouldn't be sad. After all, she was the one who pushed Gu Lingqing away. But when she heard that he had accepted Su Shaoling and was going to Su Shaoling's house for dinner and to meet his parents, her heart still hurt. That kind of pain was unexpected. He wanted to pretend that he didn't care about it, but he couldn't deceive his own heart. Okay, let's go together. It's time for everyone to meet. It seems like many things have deviated from their tracks. It's time to return, right, my wife? Su Jiran said as he stared at Baya meaningfully. Baya looked away. I don't want to go. Su Jiran's eyes flashed with malice. It's not up to you. There are some people you can't covet, I warned you. What does that mean? Who else does she covet? Was she unfaithful to her marriage? I will never let such a woman become my daughter-in-law. Xiong Daini said keenly. Of course not. She wouldn't dare. Su Jiran smiled confidently and looked at Baya. Right, Xiaoya. Baya clenched her fists and looked at Su Jiran. He was like a real venomous beast, pressuring her until she couldn't breathe. She went to meet Gu Lingqing's parents. Even if she and Su Jiran divorced, it would never be possible for her and Gu Lingqing to be together again. Gu Lingqing's parents wouldn't agree. But she had no choice but to bite the bullet and go. Jiran, are you sure you want to bring her? I can't afford to lose face. Xiong Daini reminded him unhappily. She has to meet them eventually. Let's go. Su Jiran hugged Baya's waist. Baya pulled his hand away and said sarcastically, aren't you a neat freak? Be careful not to dirty your hands. It's already dirty anyway. It doesn't matter, Su Jiran replied. He hugged her even tighter and pulled her into his arms. Baya's face was pale. When she pushed Gu Lingqing away, she said how loving she was with her husband. Su Jiran was willing to cooperate, so she couldn't turn her back on him. Su Shaoling observed Su Jiran and Baya. Since Baya was a married woman, she didn't feel so repulsed anymore. Su Jiran had never failed in wooing a woman. He was the kind of man who was bad and liked by women. It's just 100 meters ahead. It's not too far. Baya, let's go shopping when we have the chance, Su Shaoling said to Baya. Her eyes were meaningful and proud. Baya didn't respond. Didn't you hear Ling talking to you? What kind of parenting is that? Xiong Daini lectured unhappily. Baya clenched her teeth. Su Jiran pinched her waist. Baya glared at Su Jiran. Mom is talking to you. Respond if you hear me, Su Jiran threatened with a smile. Baya still didn't say anything. Anger and frustration gathered in her heart. It expanded and was about to explode. The four of them entered Su Xiaoling's house. Su Changhao was surprised to see Baya. Brother, let me introduce you. She's my cousin's wife. They're married, Su Shaoling said happily. You're married? Just now. Su Changhao asked Baya in surprise. We've been married for 3 years. It was a secret marriage before, but I don't think there's a need to anymore. I brought her to see my mom and came over to freeload, Su Jiran said with a smile. Su Changhao looked at Su Jiran and then at Baya. He had a bad feeling. Take a seat. I still have some work to do, Su Changhao said. He walked into his room and called Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing picked up the call. I'm already at the villa. I'll be there soon. I'm not rushing you. There's a huge accident. Baya is here too. She's actually Jiran's wife. Do you know about this? Su Changhao said in shock. I know. Gu Lingqing's voice was deep. So you and she were pretending? Su Changhao was confused. Gu Lingqing was silent for a while. Then, he asked, how did she and Su Jiran look? It was very strange. Su Jiran seemed to be swearing his leadership. But Baya's expression was very bad. She was cold and seemed to reject Jiran's intimacy. What's going on with you guys? You promised to come to my house for dinner. Could it be related to Baya? The more Su Changhao thought about it, the more he felt that something was wrong. Don't worry about it. That's it. I'm hanging up. Gu Lingqing hung up the phone coolly. There was a deep and sharp light in his eyes. In the living room. Speaking of my son-in-law, he's really a dragon among men. He's already a major general at such a young age. Now, he's even the chief of the special forces. He's directly under the management of the military committee. His father is now the deputy commander. His mother manages a company. I heard that his family's company is on the list of the world's richest people. This child was also very handsome and had a striking appearance. Luckily, Ling and he are childhood friends. Otherwise, my Ling wouldn't even have a chance. Su Xiaoling's mother held Xiong Dani's hand and said, "Then I'm lucky this time." "I can see this handsome chief," Xiong Dani said with a smile. "Oh, right. What's wrong with your daughter-in-law? What does she do? When did she get married? You didn't even tell us." Su Xiaoling's mother hit Xiong Dani and said, "She's a doctor. Jiran got married 3 years ago. I didn't even know. Otherwise, why would I have agreed to it? This girl's hands are dirty. Jiran bought me a 5 million yuan jade bracelet and she secretly wore it. Don't you think it's disgusting?" Xiong Dani looked at Baya with disdain. Her voice wasn't low. Probably everyone could hear her. Gu Lingqing, who just came in, heard it too. Chapter 68. Baya felt embarrassed, especially when Gu Lingqing heard it. But thinking about it, so what if he heard it? She didn't have a good impression of him at all. When Gu Lingqing and the others came in, everyone in the Su family stood up and went to welcome them. Su Jiran sat on the sofa arrogantly and looked at Gu Lingqing coldly. He curled up the corner of his mouth and looked lazy. "I've invited you several times and I finally got my wish today. Come and sit down." Su Xiaoling's father, Su Zheng, held Gu Tianheng's hand and said warmly. "I've been busy before. Now that I have some free time today, I came here immediately," Gu Tianheng said with a smile. "What an honor." Su Zheng led the way. The group of people began to sit down. The women nodded at each other as a greeting. A big round table. From the main seat to the right, they were Su Zheng, Gu Tianheng, Gu Lingqing's mother, Gu Lingqing, Su Xiaoling, Su Jiran's mother, Baya, Su Jiran, Su Changhao, Su Xiaoling's mother. There were 10 people in total. After sitting down, Gu Tianheng saw Baya. He had seen Baya in Gu Lingqing's military area before. He was surprised and said, "You are." Su Jiran put his hand on Baya's shoulder and introduced her with a smile, "My wife." "Oh." Gu Tianheng smiled and said meaningfully, "Very good, very good." Gu Lingqing's cold eyes glanced at Baya's face. Baya lowered her eyes and didn't look at anyone. She didn't want anyone to see the expression in her eyes. "Uncle, what about the recruitment of doctors in the special military area?" "I've been waiting for a long time," Su Xiaoling said in a sweet voice and held Gu Lingqing's arm. Baya's eyes flickered and looked at Su Xiaoling holding Gu Lingqing's arm. Gu Lingqing did not refuse. Baya swallowed his bitterness. Su Xiaoling's family hired a professional chef, and the chef's assistant poured brandy for everyone. "About this matter, it's not up to me. It's up to Lingqing. He's the leader of the special forces. Even I can't order him," Gu Tianheng joked. "Lingqing, shouldn't you hurry up and settle this matter? You'll be able to spend time with Xiao Ling in the future. That lass has been nagging me about this matter every day." Gu Lingqing's mother said with a smile. Baya subconsciously glanced at Gu Lingqing's mother. Gu Lingqing's mother was very beautiful, noble, and elegant. Her hair was coiled up on her head, and she had the capability and decisiveness of a strong woman. Her eyes revealed the acuteness and wisdom that could see through the world. In terms of appearance, Gu Lingqing mostly resembled her mother. Gu Lingqing replied with a deep voice and took a sip of brandy. There was not much of a reaction on her face. "Before you guys came, my sister-in-law told me that Ling-er's boyfriend was so outstanding that he could only exist in the heavens. Now that I look at him, he is indeed extraordinary. Here's to you." Xiong Dani raised her glass to Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing also raised her glass, and she looked at Baya from the corner of her eyes. Baya still had her head down, and Su Jiran picked a piece of beef fillet for her. "Look at how you're praising him. Is he your son?" Gu Lingqing's mother looked at Su Jiran. "Jiran, He's the deputy director of the health bureau now. He's a little naughty, Xiong Dani said proudly. The younger generation will surpass us in time. He's so accomplished at such a young age, Gu Lingqing's mother praised. He's still working hard, auntie. Here's to you. Su Jiran smiled devilishly. He raised his glass and took a big gulp. This child is so charming. You're so lucky. I can tell that you have a deep relationship with your son. Gu Lingqing's mother also took a sip and frowned. Old Su, the alcohol content is quite high. Aren't you afraid that I'll get drunk and go crazy in your house? Why should I be afraid if you go crazy? Your old Gu is still around. He's still young, and he can still deal with you, Su Jing joked. It's not that I can't deal with him, but I don't dare to. If Chief Song goes crazy, I'll be in trouble. Gu Tianheng smiled gently and looked at Gu Lingqing's mother, Song Shiyu. Hey, hey, hey. The two of you are showing off your love. Aren't you ashamed? Come, let's drink, Su Xiaoling's mother said and picked up her glass. Baya followed everyone and took a sip. She did not know the brand of the brandy, but it was very spicy. She did not like it. Everyone chimed in, chatting happily. On the other hand, she did not say a word. It was as if she did not fit in with the lively banquet. After a few sips, she was a little tipsy. She looked at Gu Lingqing and happened to meet his gaze. Then, she looked away. Su Jiran suddenly lowered his head and kissed her on the forehead. Su Jiran drank a lot. The strong smell of alcohol rushed to the tip of her nose. Baya was stunned. She did not like him to have physical contact with her, but under such circumstances, she could not act up. Su Jiran smiled and looked at her confidently. There was a hint of intoxication in his eyes. He lifted her chin and slowly moved his lips to hers. His action attracted the attention of the others at the table. Baya clenched her fists. Should she dodge or take it? Her mind was in a mess. She could not make up her mind. You two are quite affectionate, Su Changhao said and interrupted Su Jiran's kiss. No matter how good other women are, they are not as good as my wife. Other women belong to others, but only my wife belongs to me. Su Jiran raised his glass and clinked with Su Changhao's. He drank the wine in one gulp. Su Xiaoling smiled. Her cousin was really good at wooing women. She looked at Gu Lingqing. Lingqing, come to my room. I have something for you. Gu Lingqing's jaw tightened. His face was livid and his deep eyes hid his anger. He stood up and left with Su Xiaoling. My girl is so shameless. They are not married yet and she brought him to the room, Su Xiaoling's mother said helplessly. So what? They are going to get married sooner or later. It doesn't matter if they do it earlier or later. Moreover, Lingqing is not young anymore. He is a hot-blooded young man. He will always have needs, Su Zheng said indulgently. Baya's heart tightened. It was as if something was gripping her heart. A wave of sourness flowed out from her heart and reached the blood. She took a sip of wine and numbed her mind with a more bitter and spicy taste. All right, since old Su has said so, I can't go back on my word. Why don't we set the wedding date? Gu Tianheng said. Baya felt her head was heavy and her appetite was churning. She covered her mouth and said, Excuse me. Chapter 69. She knew that she was sad. She started to feel sad when she saw Gu Lingqing appear in Su Xiaoling's house. In fact, even if it wasn't Su Xiaoling, there would still be other women who deserved him. He would never be hers, so why should she feel sad? Baya took a deep breath and splashed cold water on her face to make herself more rational. The door was suddenly pushed open. Baya saw that it was Gu Lingqing. Her heart tightened. She nodded and said softly, I'm fine now. I'll let you in. Gu Lingqing stared at her and locked the door. Baya looked at him in confusion and met his deep eyes. His eyes seemed to contain the universe, and she couldn't see it clearly at all. Why are you crying? Gu Lingqing asked. Baya turned her face away guiltily. I'm not crying. I drank too much and I want to throw up. Gu Lingqing walked towards her. He was approaching. Baya stepped back subconsciously. Gu Lingqing came to her, lifted her chin and looked at her coldly. I don't believe you. I don't need you to believe me. Baya pushed him away and walked towards the door in a panic. Gu Lingqing was annoyed. She didn't avoid Su Jiran's kiss, so he felt that he had lost his mind. He grasped her arm, pulled her to his side, leaned down, and kissed her on the lips. Baya was so scared that she pushed his chest desperately. This was Su Xiaoling's house. He was crazy. They were still outside. Perhaps someone had seen him enter the bathroom. However, the more she struggled, the stronger Gu Lingqing became. He pressed the back of her head and put his fingers in her hair, not letting her have the possibility to retreat. They both drank a lot, and the smell of alcohol lingered in each other's noses. Baya was almost out of breath because of his kiss, but he didn't let her go. She felt the oxygen disappearing bit by bit. She had no strength at all. The hand that was originally pushing him away instinctively held onto his arm to support her body. Only then did he release her, panting. His chest was heaving up and down as he stared at her. Let go of me. I'm going out. My husband is still outside, Baya said worriedly. The word husband stimulated all of his nerves. Gu Lingqing picked her up and put her on the sink. The coldness of the pool made her shiver. Gu Lingqing, what are you doing? Baya wanted to get down. He held her back with one hand and kissed her lips, while his other hand slipped under her skirt. Baya widened her watery eyes, tears glistening in her eyes. She knew what he wanted and stiffened her body, refusing. But how could she be his opponent? When his fingers broke through the last barrier, Baya was so ashamed that she wanted to bite him. Instead, he let go of her lips. There was no desire in his eyes as he looked at her angrily. Reject me again, or louder. If someone barges in, I can't do anything about it. Baya pushed his arm. Don't be like this, don't be like this. He didn't move an inch. Don't be like this. It's not like we haven't done this before. Is there a difference if we do it once or twice? You saw it too. It's impossible for us to be together. They are already discussing your marriage with Su Xiaoling. Do you want us to make mistakes after we get married? Baya wasn't calm. He let go of her, unzipped his pants and stood in front of her. Don't worry, I will never marry Su Xiaoling. I will only marry you. Baya paused for a moment, her heart trembling violently. He had already entered. She almost cried out, but he kissed her lips, silencing her voice. Baya furrowed her brows in frustration. Only then did he let go of her lips, his eyes burning as he looked at every expression on her face. Baya bit her lips. She couldn't push him away, she couldn't escape, she couldn't hide. What should she do? She felt wronged and sad. Tears flowed from the corner of her eyes. Gu Lingqing saw her crying and his heart softened. I know you must have something. You didn't tell me because you were afraid of implicating me. You don't have to tell me, I will investigate it myself. Don't worry, I will definitely help you solve it. Baya was touched. She was so touched that she couldn't put it into words. She could only suppress it. I'm fine. I won't let you off even if you're fine. You are my first woman. You don't have to be responsible for me, but you have to be responsible for me. If you don't take responsibility, I won't let you off, Gu Lingqing said domineeringly. Baya couldn't think anymore. She pursed her lips and gradually lost herself in the dream he had created. There was a knock on the door. She got nervous and, Gu Lingqing was quite satisfied with her reaction. He pulled her in front of him and leaned on her tightly. Xiaoya, What are you doing inside? You've been in there for a long time, Su Jiran asked suspiciously. Gu Lingqing thought about it and didn't want to push it away. Su Jiran knocked on the door more urgently. I'll be out in a while, Baiya replied angrily. Open the door, Su Jiran ordered. Are you done? Baiya urged and pushed Gu Lingqing's shoulders. Kiss me, Gu Lingqing ordered. Su Jiran knocked on the door again. Baiya looked at Gu Lingqing and didn't have any intention of stopping. She had no choice but to hug the back of Gu Lingqing's neck and kiss his lips. Gu Lingqing picked her up and pushed her against the door. Baiya wanted to cry but had no tears. Xiaoling, do you have the key to this washroom? Su Jiran kissed Su Xiaoling. Yes, I'll get it for you, Su Xiaoling said confusedly. Oh yeah, did you see Gu Lingqing? Su Jiran's eyes shot out a sharp light. He glanced at the washroom door and his face turned pale. I didn't see him. Give me the key, Su Jiran said coldly. Baiya was so nervous that her heart was about to jump out. Gu Lingqing also kissed her fiercely in the end. The door was opened. Su Jiran glanced at the washroom. There was no one. Baiya. What? My stomach hurts. Baiya lowered her head and her face was as red as blood. Su Jiran knocked on the door of the washroom. Open it. Wait. Baiya took a deep breath, then another deep breath. She pressed on the toilet and opened the door. Su Jiran glanced inside. There was only Baiya. He glanced at Baiya's face. Why is your face so red? It's like this when I drink. My head hurts a little. I want to go back to sleep, Baiya said guiltily. She remembered that when she caught Su Jiran with another woman, he could talk and laugh as if nothing had happened. Why couldn't she? She hadn't been caught yet and she felt so guilty that she was about to die. Why was there such a big difference in the endurance of people? Su Jiran opened the washroom window and looked outside. Outside the window was the back garden. Chapter 70. Baiya wasn't good at lying. She licked her lips to cover up her panic. She answered ambiguously, didn't everyone see it today? Really? Su Jiran stared at her coldly. His eyes were as sharp as a knife, as if he had seen through her lies. Baiya looked at Su Jiran in confusion. He was with another woman, and even did that kind of thing in front of her. Why didn't he find out that he was wrong at that time? At that time, she might have felt the same as him now. Angry, desperate, crazy, collapsed, and began to doubt life. Baiya calmed down. What do you want to prove? I don't want to prove anything. I think you've heard that Gu Lingqing and Su Xiaoling are about to get married. His parents like Su Xiaoling very much, and they won't accept other women. The Su family won't let you go. Don't humiliate yourself. Don't even have some thoughts. Otherwise, I can guarantee that your life will be several times more painful than it is now. Do you hear me? Su Jiran ordered. Baiya's eyes dimmed. In fact, she understood in her heart. She didn't dare to think about her and Gu Lingqing at all. Just now, it wasn't what she was willing to do. However, listening to Gu Lingqing's confession, she was moved. She was moved for a moment. After all, being moved for a moment was like living for a lifetime. I know. Baiya walked to the sink, turned on the tap, and washed her face. When she walked out of the bathroom, Gu Lingqing was already sitting on the sofa, talking to Su Changhao. He looked at her with deep eyes. Baiya didn't dare to look at him, so she turned her face away. Uncle Su, Uncle Gu, Xiaoye is not feeling well. We'll go back first. Su Jiran smiled and greeted them. He seemed to be well-mannered. Did you drink too much? Go back and rest, Su Xiaoling's mother said lovingly. Baiya nodded to Su Xiaoling's mother and left the room. Gu Lingqing watched as Baiya walked away. Su Changhao patted Gu Lingqing's thigh to make Gu Lingqing come back to his senses. He lowered his voice and asked, "What's going on between you and Baya?" "She's my cousin's woman. I heard they've been married for 3 years. She is my woman," Gu Lingqing said with certainty. Su Changhao was shocked by Gu Lingqing. "You like her? She's a married woman. Are you crazy? Don't you want your future? You are most likely to become the president." Su Changhao was worried. "She will divorce soon." "I know what I'm doing," Gu Lingqing said confidently. "What do you know?" "My cousin isn't someone to be trifled with. His mother is actually very close to the president. His career is also very bright. His methods are not what you think. You can provoke anyone but my cousin's woman." Su Changhao disagreed. "Do you remember I told you that I was injected with a drug during a mission 3 years ago and hurt a woman?" Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice. Su Changhao paused and guessed, "That woman is Baya." Gu Lingqing nodded. "I ruined her life. I have to be responsible for her. Think carefully. You might not love her. It's because you feel guilty and sorry for her for a long time. You just want to make it up to her. Her character is completely different from Hai Lan. I don't believe you're in love with her." "I know what I feel for her," Gu Lingqing said with certainty. "Brother, what are you talking about?" Su Shaoling sat next to Gu Lingqing. Su Changhao smiled and said to Su Shaoling, "What I'm talking to him about is confidential. You better not know about this kind of thing. I'm not interested either." Lingqing, Mom and Dad discussed with Uncle and Auntie to let us get engaged in October. What do you think? Su Shaoling asked happily. Gu Lingqing stood up and held Su Shaoling's arm. They walked to the front of the parents. Su Shaoling lowered her head sweetly. "There's something I need to tell you. I've always treated Ling as my sister. I'll take care of her like my biological sister. However, I don't have any romantic feelings for her. This is what I want to tell you today," Gu Lingqing said bluntly. The parents' faces turned ugly. "Bastard, do you know what you're talking about?" Gu Tianhang opened his eyes wide and said angrily. "I know what I'm talking about and what I want. I know how I should get along with Ling. It's not a bad thing for Ling to have one more brother," Gu Lingqing said coldly. "Having one brother is enough for me." Su Shaoling pulled her hand out. She was very irrational. Gu Lingqing didn't give her any face at all. She had no choice but to give up. "Is it because of Baya?" As soon as the name Baya came out, everyone was shocked. They looked at Gu Lingqing in surprise. Gu Lingqing clenched his teeth. His eyes emitted a sharp light as he glanced at Su Shaoling. "It's because I don't like you," Gu Lingqing said sharply. "Then swear to Mom and Dad and everyone that you don't like Baya." "You won't be with Baya," Su Shaoling said aggressively. "I don't need to swear to anyone. There's something going on in the army. I have to go back now." Gu Lingqing nodded at the elders and walked out of the room. "Ling, what do you mean by that? Is Baya Jiaran's wife?" Su Shaoling's mother pulled Su Shaoling's hand. Su Shaoling's eyes were red. Tears flowed out of her eyes. "It's that B***tch. There was a loud bang. Gu Tianhang smashed the glass on the floor and said angrily, "Impossible. I will never let that kind of woman into the house." Su Shaoling's mother looked at Su Changhao. "How, you're Gu Lingqing's good friend and also Ling's brother. Tell me, what's going on?" Su Changhao laughed dryly. Seeing everyone's murderous expression, he said, "What are you guys thinking? It's impossible for Lingqing and Baya to be together. Baya is Jiaran's wife. Lingqing just can't forget Zhou Hailan. He can't take it anymore because you guys are forcing him. Hailan has been dead for 5 years." Su Shaoling exposed Su Changhao's lie. Lingqing has always been sentimental. He still has his primary school books. You guys know that. Alright, my baby sister. Su Changhao put his arm around Su Xiaoling's shoulder. He said earnestly, if you want Lingqing to like you, you should change your temper. You're so impulsive. How can Lingqing show his face? If I were Lingqing, I wouldn't like a woman like you either. Especially if you want to be my wife. I must find a virtuous woman. Su Changhao became the peacemaker. He saw everyone's expression soften. He sighed. Chapter 71. Baiya thought about it and went back to Xiongdani. Along the way, Su Jiran kept examining her. She could feel his gaze. It was like a sharp blade cutting her body. She could only ignore it and pretend that she did not see it. Baiya, did you do it with Gu Lingqing? If you did, I'm willing to let you go, Su Jiran said coldly. Baiya paused. She turned her head and looked at Su Jiran confusedly. She looked at his cold face. She could not tell if what he said was true or not. If she did it, would Su Jiran take revenge on Gu Lingqing? She did not want to hurt Gu Lingqing. Su Jiran, aside from those external reasons, do you think we're still suitable to be together? You've seen how your mother views me. You're so smart. You should know that no one will be happy, Baiya said coldly. Su Jiran curled his lips and walked in front of her, as if he had seen through her. Are you changing the topic? Baiya raised her chin. I'm just stating the truth. The truth is that Gu Lingqing's parents will never accept you. You should give up. If I find out that you're still in a relationship with Gu Lingqing, I promise that I'll ruin his reputation. You can try to challenge me, Su Jiran threatened. If he ruins his reputation, what about you? Do you think that you can protect yourself? Do you think that the dirty things you've done will be buried in the dust of time? Baiya frowned and asked. She did not hide her disgust for Su Jiran. Su Jiran curled his lips. He held Baiya's waist and pulled her into his arms. He said arrogantly, let's try. Baiya desperately tried to pull him away. She didn't like his wild aura. The more she struggled, the more sinister he became. Baiya, it's time for us to live as a married couple, right? Baiya looked at him in panic. Su Jiran, don't go overboard. Even if we're married, I can sue you if I don't want to. I've already told you. Am I afraid? Su Jiran said arrogantly. He carried Baiya and walked towards Xiongdani's room. Baiya realized that what Su Jiran said was true. She didn't want Su Jiran to touch her. Su Jiran, let go of me. Let go of me. She struggled desperately, but she couldn't break free at all. In a moment of desperation, he bit Su Jiran's shoulder. He bit it hard. Her mouth was full of blood, but she didn't let go. Su Jiran's face was ashen, and his eyes were filled with loneliness and murderous intent. He threw Baiya on the sofa and untied his tie. Baiya hurriedly ran towards the door. She had only taken a few steps when she was pulled back by Su Jiran. She scratched at Su Jiran's face like a madman. Su Jiran had completely lost his mind. His eyes were bloodshot, and he grabbed Baiya's hands and tied them behind her back. Baiya knew that she couldn't escape this. She was trembling in fear. Su Jiran, don't do this. Don't touch me. I promise to stay by your side forever. Don't touch me. She screamed the last word. She looked at Su Jiran in fear and defensiveness. She felt especially helpless. Su Jiran stared at her. He leaned over and his breath approached her. He lifted her chin. Didn't you always want me to sleep with you? That's because I still loved you. Baiya choked. Su Jiran rubbed her lips with his thumb and said fiercely, then continue to love me. He kissed her lips forcefully. Baiya pursed her lips and gritted her teeth. Su Jiran couldn't get in, so he let go of her and ordered, "Open your mouth." Baya shook her head in fear. Her eyes were red. Su Jiran was like a demon to her now. He wanted to push her to the deepest part of hell. "Then don't open your mouth. I can kiss other places." Su Jiran tore off the buttons of her clothes with brute force. He lowered his head and kissed her shoulder. No, it wasn't a kiss. It was a bite. Just like how she had bitten him just now, his sharp teeth went deep into her skin. Baya was in pain and despair. Her eyes were filled with mist, refracting light and becoming blurry. She was destined to be unfortunate from the moment she was born. Her father loathed her mother and found a woman outside. She and Xing Jinyan were born at the same time. Xing Jinyan was in the hospital with her parents. She was born on the cold ground. Only despair and sadness had saved her mother. Her mother was sent to a mental hospital because of her and could never come out. Her friend, because of her, was photographed naked. Her lover had provoked someone he shouldn't have provoked because of her. What if she died? Would all the bad things come to an end because of her death? She didn't want to have anything to do with Su Jiran even if she died. Baya closed her eyes and bit her tongue, letting the pain numb all her nerves. "What are you doing?" Xiong Dani screamed. Su Jiran looked at Xiong Dani and furrowed his brows. Xiong Dani rushed over and slapped Baya's face indiscriminately. "You be *tch, are you so cheap? Can't you find a man?" Baya felt her face burning. She couldn't argue back. No matter what she said, no one would believe her. Why should she say it out loud to embarrass herself? She didn't even want to cry. That was just a way to make her enemies happy. Divorce her immediately. This kind of woman doesn't deserve to be my daughter-in-law. Xiong Dani ordered Su Jiran. "Mom, what's wrong with you? Baya and I love each other very much. Why should we divorce?" Su Jiran rejected. "You're still in the dark, aren't you? Xiaoling already said that Baya hooked up with Gu Lingqing. Why do you want such a fickle woman? Aren't you on good terms with Xing Jinyan? I'd rather you have Xing Jinyan than to be with her. She's a disgrace." Xiong Dani was so angry that her face turned red. "Xiaoling has misunderstood. She has me. How can she be with Gu Lingqing? Mom, are you overestimating Baya or underestimating your own son?" Su Jiran hugged Xiong Dani's shoulders and said. "She's really not with Gu Lingqing." "Of course not," Su Jiran replied with a smile. Xiong Dani looked at Baya's disheveled clothes and was instantly enraged. She slapped Baya's face again. "Remember, this slap is to teach you a lesson. If you dare to mess around with the identity of Mrs. Su, this isn't a lesson." "What the hell, are you so impatient? Go on." Xiong Dani found it hard to speak. She said in disdain, "Don't dirty my place." Baya stood up and broke free from Su Jiran's tie. She slapped Xiong Dani's face. Xiong Dani had never been slapped before. She looked at Baya in shock. "This slap is for you," Baya said coldly. Chapter 72. Xiong Dani was furious. She raised her hand and slapped Baya's face. Baya grabbed Xiong Dani's wrist. "You cherish your son, but don't slander other people's daughters. Have you ever stopped your son from having fun outside? Where did you get the cheek to care about other people's daughters? Jiran, why are you still standing there? Hit her. If I don't make her apologize, my surname isn't Xiong," Xiong Dani yelled. Baya looked at Su Jiran coldly and met his deep eyes. "Baya, apologize," Su Jiran said in a commanding tone. "Even if I apologize, I won't be doing it to you and your son." "You don't deserve it," Baya said stubbornly. "Divorce, we have to divorce." "Baya, you be *tch, get out of here with nothing. You don't want a single cent from Jiran's assets. Xiong Dani stomped her feet angrily. Okay, Baya agreed decisively. Su Jiran slapped Baya's face. He used a lot of force. Baya was thrown to the ground. Her head was white, and she felt dizzy as if she was seeing stars. Hot liquid flowed out of her nose. She took half a minute to regain her senses. For a moment, she thought she was going to faint. She didn't want to faint in Su Jiran's house. She looked at Su Jiran with a cold and empty gaze. If I don't teach you a lesson, do you really think I'll let you do whatever you want? Su Jiran said angrily. Jiran, you did a good job. A woman like her should suffer a little. Otherwise, she wouldn't have closed her legs. B*TCH, Xiong Dailin scolded. Shouldn't you apologize now? Su Jiran warned fiercely. Baya stood up and straightened his back. You can beat me to death, but don't expect me to beg for mercy from you people. Don't you miss your friends? Su Jiran asked in a sinister tone. Baya paused. Yes, she still had friends. She couldn't drag them down because of her. Baya smiled, defeated like a pear blossom. What he was suffering now was because his brain was filled with water back then. She shouldn't have provoked a demon like Su Jiran. I'm sorry. Baya looked down and said coldly. Get lost. Don't ever come to my place again, bitch. Xiong Dani roared. Baya walked out without looking back. When Su Jiran saw her walk past him, he felt as though his heart was pinched by a bee. It hurt, ached, and was a little panicked. Jiran, you can't have a woman like her. Hurry up and get a divorce. Because of her, I won't object to you marrying Xing Jinyan. It's better than her, Xiong Dani said in frustration. Mom, Xiaoya is a good person. She's just a little stubborn. Most of the time, she's quite sensible. Give her a chance to get to know her better. Su Jiran looked out of the house. Baya was leaving. He wanted to leave too. What's so good about it? She slapped me twice. My face is still red. Didn't you see? She slapped me twice. I can't let her off so easily. Divorce, we must get a divorce, Xiong Dani said domineeringly. Didn't you slap her twice too? Su Jiran coaxed Xiong Dani gently. I'm an elder. It's my duty to beat her to death. Yes, you're right. I helped you slap her too. She even had a nosebleed. Calm down, Mom. Worst comes to worst, I'll beat her again when I get home. I'll beat her until she can't get out of bed. Is that okay? Su Jiran said with a smile. I really don't know why you don't want to get a divorce. Xiong Dani was confused. I'm the deputy director of the health bureau now. If I get a divorce, won't it affect my future? Don't worry. First of all, you're married in secret. Secondly, even if you get a divorce, I can say a few words in front of the president. He won't refuse to promote you. He'll put you in an important position in the future. Xiong Dani sighed. I'll see to it. Okay, Mom. Don't be angry. I'll put some on your face. Otherwise, it'll hurt your beautiful face. Su Jiran let go of Xiong Dani and walked to the fridge. Rumble, there was thunder outside. The sky suddenly became gloomy. Su Jiran looked out of the window worriedly. It was difficult to get a taxi here, let alone a bus. Baya shouldn't have gone far. Mom, it's going to rain. I should go back, Su Jiran said. No. Let that bitch suffer a little. She won't disobey me in the future. Put some on my face. Hurry up. Xiong Dani said overbearingly. Su Jiran looked out of the window. His eyes were fierce. He didn't go out. He took some ice cubes out of the fridge. Baya was walking on the road. Raindrops dripped on her nose. She looked up at the sky. It was dark, as if a storm was coming. Compared with the devil Su Jiran, a little rain was nothing. She called a taxi, but the nearest one would arrive in half an hour. They were afraid of being stood up and didn't want to come. She could only walk forward. In less than 2 minutes, the rain poured down and hit her thin body. Soon, she was drenched. She wanted to find a place to hide from the rain, but the storm didn't look like it would stop anytime soon. She could only walk on the road and try her luck to see if anyone was willing to give her a ride. A car stopped beside her. Gu Lingqing rolled down the window. Get in. Baiya saw that it was Gu Lingqing. She didn't want to get in. No need. Gu Lingqing took off his suit and opened the car door to get out. She knew that she couldn't fight him. She didn't want him to get wet, so she opened the car door and got in. Gu Lingqing saw her face. A sharp light flashed in his eyes. He pinched her chin and pushed her over. Her face was red and swollen. Her fingers were intertwined. He gritted his teeth. He felt heartache and anger. Who hit you? Su Jiran, you lied to me that you were in love with each other. She saw concern in his eyes. Her eyes were wet. She was too tired now. She didn't want to fight with her heart, so she didn't say anything. Gu Lingqing passed the suit to her. Put it on. Don't catch a cold. Baiya put on his suit. His clothes still carried his body heat, and it was very warm. She gathered her clothes and leaned back in her chair to look at him. You still don't want to tell me why you compromised with Su Jiran? Or do you really want me to go crazy? Gu Lingqing looked at her domineeringly. Baiya was touched. The redness in her eyes deepened. She said softly, Gu Lingqing, if I hadn't met you, I would have lost all hope. Gu Lingqing could hear the compromise in her tone. He turned his face away and held her cold hand. Leave everything to me. I'll handle it properly. Tears flowed from her eyes. They passed through her lips. They were salty. She looked out of the window. She could destroy herself. She liked him and didn't want to bring him along. Gu Lingqing, how long have we known each other? Baiya asked calmly. I've asked this question before. Let's change it, Gu Lingqing said. Chapter 73. She really liked Gu Lingqing. She liked him when he was gentle. She liked him when he was domineering. She quite liked it when he was being unreasonable. That was why she was willing to give it to him, but she didn't want Su Jiran to touch it. What are you laughing at? Gu Lingqing asked. I, Baiya, don't deserve to be liked by you. I think I'm quite lucky. Baiya took a deep breath and adjusted his emotions. Gu Lingqing didn't say anything. He just looked at the car in front of him. The heavy rain pitter-pattered on the car, which made him very annoyed. Baiya looked at Gu Lingqing, and his eyes softened. Gu Lingqing, actually, I'm satisfied with this. Gu Lingqing suddenly braked, looked at Baiya, and said coldly, I don't feel satisfied. What should I do? You can't see a person clearly in a month. Some people can't be seen clearly even after a year, 3 years, or even 10 years. I think I'm not the person you've been looking for, Baiya said rationally. Whether you're the person I've been waiting for, I know it myself. Baiya, I won't allow you to back off. Gu Lingqing held her arm tightly and looked at her with burning eyes. But I know clearly that you're not the person I've been waiting for. The more I get to know you, the more I feel that you're not suitable. Love is not a one-way choice. As long as one party disagrees, it won't be balanced. Baiya looked straight at him and didn't back off. So, you don't like me, right? Gu Lingqing asked coldly. Baiya swallowed bitterly. I don't like you. What do you mean by you don't like me? Gu Lingqing's tone became colder. Because I know you want me. You've helped me a lot, and I can't repay you. So you're repaying me? Gu Lingqing shook off her hand. Baya clenched her fists and lowered her eyes. Her long eyelashes covered the ripples in her eyes as she admitted, yes. Gu Lingqing punched the steering wheel. The car honked shrilly. Gu Lingqing's chest heaved violently. He was silent for a minute. Baya was also silent. She was so silent that the temperature of her body had completely receded. She felt waves of coldness invading her heart. After a long time, Gu Lingqing squinted at him. Her secretive eyes were like dead wood. Do you think it's possible for you to fall in love with me? Baya shook her head. Your liking is already a burden to me. Got it. Gu Lingqing was driving. Along the way, he didn't speak again and sent Baya to Lu Shuang's place. As soon as Baya got out of the car, Gu Lingqing drove the car away before she could return the clothes to him. She looked at the back of the car and stood there in silence. She knew that she had completely lost him. That was good. He was high up and shouldn't have anything to do with a woman like her. In the future, she could just see him on TV. Baya turned around and entered the elevator. Just when she came out of the elevator, her phone rang. She saw that it was Su Jiran calling. She felt very annoyed and didn't answer it. Instead, she muted the phone and threw it on the sofa. She went into the bathroom, took a shower, changed her clothes, took out ice from the fridge and put it on her face. Then she went to the kitchen to make dinner for Lu Shuang. Everything was calm as if nothing had happened during the day. Lu Shuang opened the door and saw the dishes on the table. It smells so good. Wash your hands and come for dinner. Baya walked out of the kitchen with the yam ribs. Are you okay today? Lu Shuang asked worriedly. He walked towards Baya and saw the red and swollen face. His heart skipped a beat. Who hit you? Su Jiran. Baya smiled. It's just a flesh wound. I don't feel any pain now. Compared to the first year of my marriage, I feel much better. He's using domestic violence. Lu Shuang said angrily. I slapped his mother twice, and he slapped me once. Actually, I'm the one who earned it. Baya comforted him with a smile. That scumbag Su Jiran actually has a mother. The more Lu Shuang thought about it, the more he felt that Baya's life would be very hard in the future. Let's eat. When Su Jiran finds another prey, I can resume my peaceful life. Based on my understanding of him, he won't be interested in a woman for more than 3 months. Don't worry. Baya sat down and started eating. Lu Shuang held Baya's hand and said guiltily, Xiao Bai, I'm sorry. I've harmed you. Otherwise, you and Gu Lingqing would be together. I met Gu Lingqing's parents today. One is the high and mighty deputy commander, and the other is a strong woman. What do you think about me? Baya asked. I think you're pretty good. Lu Shuang blurted out. That's because we're colleagues and friends. In fact, a person like Gu Lingqing will marry a woman who matches his family background. Otherwise, his future will not be smooth. Even if you hadn't done this, Gu Lingqing and I wouldn't have been able to be together. Let's just treat it as a dream. Baya smiled. Have you really let it go? Lu Shuang's eyes turned red. I think it's a pity. Of course it's a pity. Gu Lingqing is equivalent to a few thousand tons of rice. Anyone would be envious of him. However, I can only eat 3 buckets of rice a day. It's not suitable. Baya picked up a piece of braised pork for Lu Shuang. If you can't eat it, you can sell it. Why are you so stubborn? Lu Shuang's eyes turned even redder. Baya held Lu Shuang's hand. To me, friends are precious. I've thought it through. Lu Shuang's phone rang. She saw it was Su Jiran and got angry. Why are you calling me? Do you want to die? Open the door. I'm outside. Su Jiran used a commanding tone and hung up the phone. Lu Shuang picked up the mop, opened the door, and hit Su Jiran without any explanation. Su Jiran grasped the mop even faster than him. Lu Shuang pulled a few times but couldn't get the mop out. He scolded. "How dare you come here? Where's my nude photo? Why don't you go and die? I saw you and Xing Jinyan doing unspeakable things in the wild with my own eyes. Why are you pestering Xiao Bai?" Su Jiran ignored Lu Shuang and glanced at Baiya sharply. "Follow me." Baiya pursed her lips and didn't say a word. "I'll only give you 1 minute." "I'll wait for you downstairs," Su Jiran said and flung the mop from Lu Shuang's hand. He looked at her maliciously and turned to leave. "Baiya, don't go. Let him do it. I don't care. I have a good figure. What's there to be afraid of?" Lu Shuang said irrationally. Baiya stood up and told Lu Shuang, "I'll deal with it myself. Stay at home and don't do anything. I'll see you at the hospital tomorrow. Don't go." Lu Shuang cried anxiously. "I'll have to face it eventually. There's no way to avoid it. I'll be fine." Baiya smiled. She threw her phone into her bag and walked out of the door. The more Lu Shuang thought about it, the more dangerous Baiya felt. Chapter 74. The phone rang once, twice, thrice, until it was hung up. There was no answer. F***ck, Lu Shuang was furious and smashed the phone angrily. But now that Baiya was in danger, she couldn't be swayed by her emotions. Lu Shuang picked up the phone from the ground again. Luckily, the phone wasn't broken. She called Gu Lingqing again, but there was still no answer. Lu Shuang was so anxious that he almost cried. "Gu Lingqing, answer the phone. I'm waiting for you to save me," Lu Shuang said to himself. Unfortunately, Gu Lingqing still didn't answer the phone. When Lu Shuang really wanted to smash the phone again, Gu Lingqing called back. "Leader Gu, you finally answered the phone. I want to die," Lu Shuang said with a crying voice. "Get to the point. I'm in a meeting," Gu Lingqing said coldly. Okay. Leader Gu, please save Baiya. She was taken away by Su Jiran. She has never slept with Su Jiran. She lied to you. Besides, it's all my fault that she can't be with you. Su Jiran took an indecent video of me. Su Jiran used this to threaten Baiya. So, Baiya can't get a divorce. She likes you, I promise. She just doesn't want to affect your career, so she said those cruel words on purpose. Lu Shuang told the truth. Gu Lingqing frowned, and his eyes were unfathomable. He knew that Baiya must have a reason. "I'll deal with it. That's all for now." Gu Lingqing folded his arms and looked at the time. "You must deal with it immediately. They have been gone for several minutes. I'm afraid it's too late," Lu Shuang said anxiously. "I see." Gu Lingqing hung up the phone, thought for a while, and called the director of the City A Police Department. "Hello, I'm from the military. Su Jiran, the deputy director of the Health Bureau, is involved in a major case. We need him to cooperate with the investigation. Locate his phone immediately and arrest him in 10 minutes. This involves military secrets. You must remain silent. Our lieutenant colonel will come over to handle it." "Yes, we will cooperate with the military," the director promised. On the road, Baiya looked out of the window. The rain was still very heavy, slapping against the window. The scenery outside was somewhat blurry, just like her mind. It had been ravaged like a lily in a storm, teetering on the verge of collapse. Su Jiran looked at her. Her face was still swollen. He knew very well how much strength he had exerted in his slap. But how arrogant was he to apologize? It was impossible for him to say that. "Move back here. I will spend the night at your place every Monday, Wednesday and Friday." Su Jiran said as if he was giving alms. Baya sarcastically twitched the corner of her mouth, drew circles on the window with her snow-white fingers, and said coldly, "What about the other 2, 4, 6, and 7? You can't be too greedy. I've always been greedy. You know that. I want my man to be loyal to me alone," Baya said calmly. Why do you want a man to be loyal to you alone? How many men don't go out to play nowadays? Women just turn a blind eye to it and live a relaxed life. Su Jiran reminded her. So? Baya squinted at him. We have different goals, so we can't work together. Su Jiran's eyes became fierce. He sneered and said sarcastically, "In my eyes, you are not qualified to work with me." Really? Baya was very calm. She leaned against the seat and pulled the seatbelt. She looked at the strong wind outside, but her heart became calmer. Neither of them spoke. It was eerily quiet in the car. "If you feel lonely, I agree to let you give birth to a child for me. I will give you 100,000 yuan every month. You can do your job as a doctor if you want." "It doesn't matter if you don't want to," Su Jiran said. Baya did not say anything. Su Jiran furrowed his eyebrows. "Did you hear that?" Baya turned sideways and faced Su Jiran. "I've been thinking about it. My status is not as good as Xing Jinyan's, and my looks are not as good as Xing Jinyan's. Xing Jinyan loves you so much. Why don't you divorce him?" "Su Jiran, have you fallen in love with me?" Su Jiran smiled. His eyes seemed to be enchanted by a thin layer of gauze. "You think too much. Fall in love with you? How is that possible? Then why don't you divorce him? Gu Lingqing likes you so much. I should use you as bait to make him do something wrong so that I can pull him down from his high horse, right?" Su Jiran said with a chuckle. It seemed to be true and false. Baya could not tell at all. If what he said was true, all the more she should not be involved with Gu Lingqing. Su Jiran stopped the car. Baya looked ahead. There was a roadblock on the road. A few police cars were parked there. A police officer came over and knocked on the window. Su Jiran lowered the window. The police officer had an ID. "Su Jiran, you're involved in an unusual case. Please come with us." "Me?" Su Jiran paused for 3 seconds and smiled. "Did the military call you to do this?" "We don't know. We're just following orders. Come out." The police officer opened the door without hesitation. "Very good, ha ha ha, very good." Su Jiran looked at Baya and blinked his right eye. He was not depressed at all because he was caught. On the contrary, he was in a good mood. Baya was even more worried. Would Su Jiran really use her as bait? No, Su Jiran would not guess that she knew Gu Lingqing. However, who could say for sure when it came to politics? Maybe it was because of her relationship with Gu Lingqing that Su Jiran set her up. Baya's phone rang. She saw that it was Gu Lingqing calling. She hesitated and did not answer it. Her phone immediately rang. It was Gu Lingqing. "I know you're in the car. Answer the phone in 1 minute or I'll come in and look for you." Baya looked at Gu Lingqing's domineering tone. When he called again, she answered it. Gu Lingqing was silent. He was obviously angry. After a while, he said, "Are you okay? Are you hurt?" Hearing Gu Lingqing's voice, Baya's heart softened a little. She had read a magazine before. The magazine said that a good love was when both parties or one of them grew up in a sunny place. She and Gu Lingqing were obviously not like that. "I'm fine. I'm not hurt. Let Su Jiran go. I want to solve my own problems," Baya said gently. Gu Lingqing really did not like her. He always pushed her away. "Must you alienate me like this?" Gu Lingqing asked coldly. "If you think so, Then so be it, Baya said and hung up the phone. Gu Lingqing got out of the car. He did not open an umbrella and walked in the rain. Lieutenant Colonel Shang immediately opened the black umbrella and supported Gu Lingqing. Half of his shoulder was drenched in the rain. Water dripped from his hair and he was shrouded in the gloomy aura of the rain. He opened the door of Baya's car and stared at Baya, who was sitting in the passenger seat. Chapter 75. Baya hesitated and looked at the road surveillance camera. What was the point of leaving with Gu Lingqing now? Maybe the surveillance camera would become the evidence of hurting Gu Lingqing. She didn't want that. I have something to do. Baya rejected him politely. Gu Lingqing's cold eyes narrowed and he sneered. He was the first person who dared to reject him. He carried her up forcefully. Gu Lingqing, what are you doing? Put me down, others will see you like this, Baya said worriedly. What did you see? What are you worried about? Tell me everything. Why do you keep it in your heart? His face was cold and he was angry. I am a married woman, Baya said cruelly. Shut up, Gu Lingqing ordered. I am someone else's wife. It's impossible for me and Su Jiran to get a divorce. Even if I shut up, I can't change this fact. Don't you feel wronged? You are high up and powerful, but you are willing to be an assistant minister, Baya said anxiously. Gu Lingqing threw her on the back seat. Say it, continue. Say it to your heart's content. Don't mention it to me in the future. It's not that these things don't exist if I don't mention it. Deceiving yourself is just deceiving others and yourself. I think Chief Gu should be smart. He knows who he shouldn't touch and who he shouldn't provoke. He should know better than me, Baya said bluntly. The way he addressed him as chief and the way he shouldn't touch him made his eyes red and his anger kept rising. I've already touched him. What do you think I should do? Gu Lingqing looked at him sharply. His jaw was tight and he got on the back seat. As soon as he got on the car, the air pressure suddenly became much lower and the air became oppressive. Then you should stop before going too far. It's not like you should continue doing something wrong, but you should correct it, right? Baya wanted to get out of the car. She couldn't stay in the same car as him, so she opened the door beside her. Gu Lingqing's pupils constricted. She held her arms and said coldly, I'm sorry. I'm not going to correct the mistake. Even if it's wrong, I'll treat it as right and go on. You're mine. Was he confessing? Baya was shocked. Before she could react, he kissed her lips. She knew it was wrong and stepped back. He pressed the back of her head and kissed her even hotter. Baya had nowhere to retreat, so she pushed his shoulder hard. If you can't push it away, hit it. He remained motionless. Lieutenant Colonel Shang was anxious. Madam Bai, just give in to our leader. He won't mistreat you. He was in the middle of a meeting and there was something important. When he heard that something had happened to you, he rushed over immediately. Baya knew that Gu Lingqing treated her well. But the better he was, the more she couldn't hurt him. They had only known each other for less than a month. He could pull away and she didn't have to fall too deeply into it. It was just a one-night stand. She bit his tongue that had ravaged her mouth. Gu Lingqing didn't step back. He stared at her. Baya tasted his sweet blood and her heart softened. She didn't bite him anymore and let go. He deepened the kiss. He didn't let her step back. He didn't even give her time to breathe. He made her swallow his blood. It entered her stomach and blended into her blood. His kiss was too forceful and overbearing. She really couldn't breathe. Her limbs were weak and she couldn't resist. Only then did he slowly soften. Lieutenant Colonel Shang closed the door for them and asked the soldiers to get out of the car. He lowered the window and closed the door. With Gu Lingqing's car as the center, it spread out for at least 100 meters. Baya wanted to die. Even if they didn't do anything, other people would imagine it. He and Lieutenant Colonel Shang had a tacit understanding. Lieutenant Colonel Shang asked the soldiers to leave. He closed the window and the door. His actions were much wilder. He pressed Baya on the car seat. In the narrow space, the two of them were very close. While he was kissing her, he had already pulled the K down inside her. As soon as Baya could speak, she said, "Gu Lingqing, we can't do this." He had completely lost his mind. His eyes were bloodshot. The memories from 3 years ago flowed through his mind. If he had taken her away from her wedding, she wouldn't have married Su Jiran. She would have been his long ago. "Can you think carefully before you answer?" Gu Lingqing said angrily. "No." Baya was very determined. But her determination didn't work on him at all. Baya exclaimed. She felt his storm-like anger. She didn't like the current Gu Lingqing. She wanted to break free, but she fell deeper into the whirlpool. "You can't do this." Baya frowned and her eyes were red. "Can't do what?" He grabbed her waist, and his temples were throbbing. "Are we not suitable for each other?" "Look, we're very suitable, aren't we?" Baya turned her face away. If it was 3 years ago, when she wasn't married yet, she would have risked her life. Even if Gu Lingqing's family didn't agree, she would accompany him to walk through hell. But now it was different from 3 years ago. She wasn't even qualified to accompany him to walk through hell. Gu Lingqing clamped her chin and made her face him. A dark pain flowed through his eyes. "Baya, I like you. Can't you feel it?" Waves of excitement flowed through Baya's heart. His confession, unintentionally, was poison. It could erode all her reason and resistance. "Woo woo woo." Baya cried. She didn't know whether she was sad, touched, or desperate. "Lu Shuang has already told me to leave this matter to me. I will solve it. Don't push me away. I don't care about your identity, your past, or your status. I only care about your feelings." He lowered his head. They were very intimate. His kiss fell on her rosy lips. Baya breathed softly and closed her eyes. His kiss moved from her eyes, to the bridge of her nose, and then to her lips. "Think of a way to delete the surveillance cameras here," Baya said worriedly. "It has been done." Gu Lingqing said in a low voice and held the back of her neck. Maybe because it was comfortable, his eyes gradually softened. "Lu Shuang said that you broke up with me because you didn't want to implicate me, right?" Baya didn't say anything. She had already felt his strong presence. She was afraid of a reaction, but the reaction was strong. "If that's the case, you don't have to worry. My status is not something that Su Jiran, the director of the Sanitary Bureau, can shake." Gu Lingqing said with certainty. Baya couldn't hear what he was saying. She clenched his arm tightly, and her face was blushing. She couldn't think clearly now, and she didn't want to think clearly. Gu Lingqing leaned over and kissed her lips again. In a daze, she remembered something. It seemed that she hadn't taken the medicine. Chapter 76. Gu Lingqing sent Baya back to Lu Shuang's place. Seeing Baya come back, Lu Shuang hurried to greet her. He touched his forehead, chest, and shoulders with his fingers and said happily, "Thank God. Gu Lingqing brought you back. I was really worried that something bad would happen to you." Baya stared at Lu Shuang. She knew that Lu Shuang meant well, but she didn't want to get Gu Lingqing involved. "Shuang, Su Jiran was taken away by the police. He won't stay there forever. Gu Lingqing can save me for a while, but he can't save me forever," Baya said rationally. "I don't care. Instead of worrying about it, let the storm come fiercely. It won't do Su Jiran any good if he explodes. If he offends Shiniyen, he won't have a good life in the future. Let's just destroy each other." Lu Shuang said impulsively. Don't be so irrational. If you're irrational, you'll only be the unlucky one. Baiya sighed. What else can I do? Watch you be violated by that scumbag Su Jiran. Lu Shuang said angrily. Baiya looked out of the window. The storm was still heavy. The rain fell on the ground and made splashes. The whole city A was shrouded in the misty rain. It was hazy and confusing. I've thought about it for a long time. I have an idea. Baiya looked at the night and said in a deep voice. What is it? Tell me quickly. I'll do it. Lu Shuang moved Baiya's body and said anxiously. Su Jiran has your video as a blackmail. What if I also have his blackmail? Baiya asked back. He's so cunning. He doesn't like you and won't tell you anything. You've just met his parents today. You can imagine how defensive Su Jiran is. He won't tell you his secret. Lu Shuang said with certainty. Not that. I'm talking about his relationship with Xing Jinyan. They are the disgusting relationship between a sugar daddy and a slave girl. I get angry whenever I mention it. Didn't you see how shameless Xing Jinyan is? He did that with Su Jiran in the wild. I feel like vomiting. Lu Shuang said angrily. So, it's a good thing that Su Jiran doesn't keep a low profile. He is a senior official. He's a senior official. He is a senior official. He is a senior official. He is a senior official. It's not good for him. Maybe we can drag him down from his position, Baiya thought. You also said that he is a senior official. That you or something has disappeared. They don't dare to provoke Su Jiran. But Xing Jinyan dares to provoke him. Xing Jinyan's father is the governor. In terms of power, he is 2 ranks higher than Su Jiran. Now that Xing Jinyan is with Su Jiran, she probably wants me to divorce Su Jiran. So, she will cooperate with us to get the evidence, Baiya guessed. Xing Jinyan is a socialite. Her father is the governor. I don't think she will be willing to expose herself as a mistress. They are all selfish, Lu Shuang said worriedly. How will we know if we don't try? I can still negotiate with her. Baiya had already made up her mind. She did not want to sit still and wait. She called Xing Jinyan. Xing Jinyan picked up the call. You actually called me? Xing Jinyan said in a strange tone. Su Jiran said he doesn't want a divorce. He even used my friend's secret to threaten me. You should know what it is. Baiya went straight to the point. Xing Jinyan's gaze turned sinister. What do you mean? Did you call to show off? I don't need to. I just called to tell you that we are on the same boat now. We have a common goal, and that is to get Su Jiran to divorce, Baiya said calmly. I'm sorry, but I don't want the man that Baiya doesn't want. I don't need to eat your leftovers, Xing Jinyan said angrily. Are you sure you don't want him? Do you know Su Changhao? Baiya asked. What's wrong, Chief of the Air Force? Don't tell me you have hooked up with him. Xing Jinyan said sarcastically. He is Su Jiran's cousin. You should know Su Jiran's background. He is now the deputy director of the Ministry of Health, and he might become the director next year. In another 2 years, he will be the mayor. According to his background, his position will be higher than your father's in less than 10 years. Do you really want to give up? Baiya said with a smile. Then why don't you want him? Xing Jinyan frowned. Because he likes you, not me. Why should I want a man who doesn't love me? 10 years later, I will be 34. If I get kicked by him at that time, wouldn't I have wasted 10 years of my youth? Hee, then I will wait for his divorce 10 years later. Xing Jinyan said proudly. Don't forget that I will be 34 in 10 years, and you will be 34 in 10 years. Can you guarantee that Su Jiran will still love you? Can you guarantee that there won't be a girl who is more beautiful and younger than you? Baya spared no effort to provoke him. Xing Jinyan squinted his eyes and hesitated for a while. He lowered his voice and asked, "What do you want?" "Help me get the video of Lu Shuang, and I will hire a lawyer to handle the divorce." "I will definitely be able to get a divorce," Baya said. Su Jiran made a few copies of the video. Xing Jinyan regretted it the moment she said it. She should have only given one copy to Baya and lied to Baya to get a divorce. If Baya asked for a divorce and Su Jiran exposed the video, it would be useless no matter how many copies she had. Baya would definitely be more determined to get a divorce. She made a slip of the tongue and wanted to bite off her tongue. Baya also knew that Su Jiran would prepare a few copies. "There's another way. I have the evidence of you and Su Jiran having an affair. You want to set me up? Su Jiran hasn't gotten a divorce yet, and I won't have a legitimate reason to marry him. My reputation will be ruined," Xing Jinyan said angrily. "You and Su Jiran were so brazen in the villa by the sea. Do you think your reputation isn't ruined now? Except, those people don't. I just want to expose you," Baya said coldly. "That's why I can't give you the evidence. How would I know if you want to divorce me or frame me?" Xing Jinyan said defensively. "Don't worry. I got the evidence of you and Su Jiran just to threaten Su Jiran not to release Lu Shuang's video. I will only treasure the recording of you and Su Jiran. As for you, you can get Lu Shuang's video and copy it. If I release the video of you and Su Jiran to the public, you can also release the video of Lu Shuang. I didn't divorce because I wanted Lu Shuang's video. Do you think I would do that?" Baya analyzed rationally. Xing Jinyan was silent. 15 seconds later. She asked in a deep voice, "Are you really willing to divorce? Do I have a reason to lie to you?" Baya asked. "Okay, deal. I will give you the video as soon as possible, but please divorce as soon as possible." Xing Jinyan made up her mind. She couldn't trap the wolf without sacrificing the child. Baya also raised the corner of her mouth slightly. Chapter 77. Baya hung up the phone. Lu Shuang asked anxiously, "She agreed?" Baya nodded. "She agreed. There's no harm in it for her. She'll agree." "That's great. Now we just have to wait for her to get the evidence. Then you can divorce Su Jiran. I'll be waiting to attend your wedding with Gu Lingqing." Lu Shuang was happy for Baya. Baya didn't say anything. She walked to the window and looked outside. The rain was still pitter-pattering, just like her current mood. *20:00 in the morning. Su Jiran walked out of the police station. Xiong Dani was wearing a long black dress and a hat. The gauze on the hat covered her face. "What's going on?" "I called their director and said that the military arrested you." "Why did the military arrest you?" Xiong Dani asked anxiously. Su Jiran curled the corner of his mouth and looked ahead coldly. "Since Gu Lingqing wants to play, I'll play with him." "Why does Gu Lingqing want to play with you?" Xiong Dani widened her eyes anxiously. "The thing between him and Baya is true, isn't it?" "I'll take care of it." "You don't have to worry about it," Su Jiran said firmly. "How can I not care? Even the president is afraid of the power of the Gu family. Don't provoke him anymore. If he wants Baya, do him a favor and give Baya to him. Anyway, that girl has to be dirty. Don't forget that she was raped 3 years ago," Xiong Dani said angrily. She said angrily. "I can give up Baya, but I can't let others take him away. They are two different things. The president is afraid of the Gu family, but I'm not," Su Jiran said arrogantly. "Jia Ran, I'm worried about you. Please don't do anything that will make me worried, for the sake of your father's soul in heaven," Xiong Dani pleaded. "I can't lose my backbone. I know what to do. It's late, go back and rest." If you don't rest, you're going to get old. Su Jiaran said with an evil smile. Jiaran. Xiong Daini still wanted to say something. Su Jiaran smiled and put his arm around her shoulders. All right, my great beauty, I'll stay in the dark. I won't fight with him in the open, okay? Leave as soon as possible. Xing Batian is still waiting for you to approach him. Xiong Daini reminded. Su Jiaran's eyes darkened, and darkness flowed through his eyes. I'll send you back first. It's okay, someone will send me back. Go back and rest. You don't care about yourself, but I do, Xiong Daini said helplessly, frowning. She really didn't want Baiya to harm her son. Xing Jinyan pounced into Su Jiaran's arms the moment he got home. Jiaran, I thought you weren't coming back today. I've been waiting for you for so long. Su Jiaran wasn't in a good mood, so he hugged Xing Jinyan's waist. Xing Jinyan wasn't wearing any clothes, and she was as enchanting as a water snake. Stop fooling around. I'm a little tired. I'm going to take a shower, Su Jiaran said gently. I'll run the water for you and help you take a shower, Xing Jinyan said coquettishly. She pushed open the bathroom door, turned on the light, and ran the water. Su Jiaran tore off his tie, and Baiya's image flashed through his mind. He squinted his eyes and sneered. His eyes were full of desire. He pushed open the bathroom door and entered. The bathroom was filled with steam, and it was foggy, as if it was made of gauze. Xing Jinyan stood up from the bathtub. There was a lot of foam on her body, and it covered her important parts, which made it even more tempting. Su Jiaran stared at the enchanting Xing Jinyan, his gaze deep. He was thinking that Xing Jinyan looked quite similar to Baiya, but their auras were completely different. Xing Jinyan looked like a fairy, fresh and refined. In reality, when she was overseas, everyone had sex with her. How messy was it? The word messy wasn't an exaggeration to describe her. Baiya, on the other hand, looked calm and indifferent. Because of the wound in her heart, she was more cautious and guarded than ordinary people. She wouldn't easily accept someone who walked into her heart. Once someone walked into her heart, she would give everything she had, including her life. For example, Lu Shuang's existence with Baiya was a case in point. For the past 3 years, he had given her a marriage in name only. He had fooled around outside, but she had been consistent. He didn't worry about her. Sometimes, he pitied her, but most of the time, he hated her. He hated that she had been raped. He had only planned the kidnapping, but she had lost her first time. He also hated that she was so beautiful, so cold, so arrogant, so decisive. If it wasn't for the hatred in his heart, would he have fallen in love with Baiya? Jiaran, I've filled the tub for you, Xing Jinyan said coquettishly. Su Jiaran was frustrated. He stepped into the bathtub, and Xing Jinyan took the initiative to kiss him. The two of them were entangled in the bathroom. However, he wasn't in the zone. He didn't know why, but he felt a little bored. In the end, it was Xing Jinyan who said it. Xing Jinyan smiled seductively and looked at the top of the bathtub. There was a pinhole camera that she had placed in it. Baiya would soon see the love between her and Su Jiaran. She couldn't wait to show it to Baiya. Anyway, Baiya only dared to keep it, she wouldn't dare to put it online. Jiaran, do you love me? Xing Jinyan wrapped her arms around the back of Su Jiaran's neck. Of course. I love you too. Divorce Baiya, then we can be together openly, Xing Jinyan said with a smile. Su Jiaran hugged Xing Jinyan's waist. He didn't say a word, but kissed her fiercely. Be good, I'm tired. Sleep with me for a while. In the middle of the night, Baiya woke up. When she woke up, the pillow was already wet. She dreamed of her childhood. This dream reminded her of when she was young. Ever since she was sensible, she had seen her mother wash her face with tears all day long. Her mother's mental state was very bad at that time, and she often hit her. After that, her mother got divorced and was chased out of the Xing family in despair. They lived in a rented place, and life became more and more difficult. One day, her mother put sleeping pills in the milk for her, and she fell asleep after drinking it. Her mother filled the bathtub with water, put her in the bathtub, and cut her wrists. Her mother also cut her wrists, and lay in the bathtub with her. Perhaps her mother still couldn't bear to let her go, she didn't cut deeply. She woke up and walked outside. But she didn't know where to go. Who should she look for? Without her mother, how was she going to live in the future? She went back to the bathtub and hugged her unconscious mother. After that, she didn't know who saved her. Her mother was locked up in a mental hospital, and she stayed in an orphanage for 10 years. After 10 years, her mother was released from the mental hospital. She brought her back and started to take care of her. She knew that her mother treated her well, but her mother was very bitter. She couldn't afford to go to university, and her mother knelt on the ground. Chapter 78. Her personality had always been cold. She didn't trust people easily and she didn't get close to people easily. Her heart was sometimes so hard that it was almost heartless. But when it was soft, it was also unusually soft. She could give up anything for the people she cared about. Her fate in this life was to meet Su Jiran, a person who destroyed her light. When she first met Su Jiran, he was very good to her. He gave her everything she wanted, helped her arrange a job and treated her mother's illness. At that time, she really felt that she was the happiest person in the world. She used to wonder how she could get Su Jiran's love. After all, apart from being young, beautiful and smart, she was poor and had a crazy mother. But when she first met love, she lost her mind and threw herself into it wholeheartedly. Until Su Jiran's lover kidnapped her. She also knew that it was Su Jiran who deliberately arranged it. She watched Su Jiran do it with his lover. She was in so much pain that she couldn't breathe. That feeling was worse than death. On that day of despair, she was raped. She forced Su Jiran to get married. Rather than saying that she was forced, perhaps Su Jiran had already prepared hell for her. She jumped into the hell as he wished. She didn't dare to believe in love. If there was no love, she wouldn't have been hurt so badly. Her mother and herself, weren't they examples? Xiao Bai, what's wrong? Lu Shuang heard Bai Ya's crying, pushed the door open and came in. Nothing, I just had a nightmare, Bai Ya said, sobbing. She didn't want Lu Shuang to worry, so she shrunk into the quilt. I'll stay with you. Lu Shuang lifted the quilt, lay behind Bai Ya and hugged Bai Ya. Bai Ya's tears broke the dam. She didn't have nothing, she still had friends. Lu Shuang could feel Bai Ya's body trembling. She was upset and her eyes reddened. Xiao Bai, I'm sorry. It's all my fault. Bai Ya shook his head and turned around to look at Lu Shuang. It's none of your business. I was just thinking about my past. It will be better in the future. After the divorce, you can be with Gu Lingqing, Lu Shuang comforted her. Lu Shuang, if you really care about me, don't matchmake me with Gu Lingqing, Bai Ya said seriously. Why? I feel that he is good in all aspects. If you marry him, your life will be much better. Lu Shuang said puzzledly. My mother was a beauty when she was young. She was very, very beautiful. In ancient poetry, a single glance could cause a city to fall in love with someone like my mother. She was an orphan, but she was very smart. When she was young, she became a nanny for a rich family and made the rich family's young master fall in love with her. She succeeded and became a mistress. However, as the rich family's young master's status got higher and higher, these became the obstacles between them. My mother loved the rich family's young master very much. The rich family's young master had his own dream. His dream was already a career. My mother was panicking. She had no status, no background, no connections. She could only use her own love to restrain herself. Once, twice, thrice. She won, but how many times could she win? The rich family's young master met a woman who was more suitable for him. That woman and the rich young master were from the same family. They had the same dream, revenge. More importantly, that woman had background and power. She could help the rich young master reach a higher level. So, in the end, the rich family's young master betrayed their love and became a cruel murderer, Baiya said quietly with tears flowing down her face. People are different. I don't think Gu Lingqing is that kind of person, Lu Shuang expressed. I believe that the rich family's young master loved my mother. However, he wouldn't ignore his family's opposition and marry my mother. However, impulsive love can't make a lifelong life. Gu Lingqing and I are nothing. We've only known each other for more than a month. The faster the passion comes, the faster it disappears. I don't want a passionate love. I want a peaceful life. At least, I won't hurt my heart, Baiya said rationally and sniffled. Lu Shuang was silent. She didn't know what to say. Baiya had never said these things to Baiya in the past. No one knew how many things Baiya hid in her heart and how much pain she had digested alone. I know. No matter what decision you make, I will support it. From now on, I won't make decisions on my own. I'm sorry, Xiao Bai, Lu Shuang said seriously. I will never blame you. I know you did it for me. Baiya smiled. The pear blossoms on the tree were pale but beautiful. Lu Shuang took a deep breath. She felt that Xiao Bai's analysis was right. She just thought that Gu Lingqing was good, but she didn't think so much about her background. Now she thought about it. The more glory she enjoyed, the more slander and hurt she had to go through. How many people would be able to withstand the damage? Overnight, she seemed to have grown a lot and learned a lot from Baiya. When it was almost dawn, the rain finally stopped. Baiya and Lu Shuang also fell asleep until Baiya's alarm clock woke her up. She had a bad headache and a serious lack of sleep. But she still had to go to work. Baiya turned off the alarm clock and looked at Lu Shuang, who was still sleeping soundly. She got up from the bed. She brushed her teeth, washed her face, went to the kitchen to cook porridge and fried 2 eggs. She also went out to buy 2 steamers of soup dumplings and went back. Lu Shuang also got up from the room and scratched his messy hair. What time is it? 7:30, just in time for breakfast. Let's go to work together after breakfast. Baiya said with a smile. Her tone was very gentle, as if the pain of last night had not happened. Xiao Bai, you are so nice. I love you so much. Don't get married for the rest of your life. Just be with me. Lu Shuang said with a smile. Go brush your teeth and hair. She put the soup dumplings on the table and went to the kitchen to get porridge. Her phone rang. She saw that it was Xing Jinyan and picked it up. Baiya, I have done what you wanted. I have sent it to your email. Check and accept it. I hope you won't disappoint me and get a divorce soon. Xing Jinyan said proudly. Baiya put the porridge on the table and turned on the computer. She saw the video that Xing Jinyan had sent. Xing Jinyan was more careful. Her face and the important parts of her body were mosaic. Su Jiran, on the other hand, was very clear, and so was his dialogue. 3 years ago, when she saw such a video and heard such dialogue, she would still feel sad and indignant. Now, she just felt relieved. She had completely given up on Su Jiran. She did not care at all, nor did she feel any heartache. Chapter 79. Baiya and Lu Shuang went to the hospital. As soon as they got out of the elevator, they heard the nurses gossiping. The deputy director of the sanitary bureau is such a scumbag. So, handsome men are not good. He uses his power and looks to fool around with women everywhere. It's really hateful, Nurse said. I heard that he was married in secret. How miserable would it be to be his wife? It's so stressful to wear a green hat, Nurse B said. I don't know what's wrong with the women nowadays. There was a celebrity on the internet who married a famous beauty. In the end, he had sex with many young models. He even said that he hunted Y. It's really disgusting. The key is that the female star still doesn't want a divorce. It's so infuriating, Nurse said. Hey, what are you talking about? Lu Shuang asked with a smile. Let's hear it. There's no such thing as too much gossip. Everyone, let's talk. Dr. Lu, you haven't gone online yet. It's very popular on the internet now. The deputy director of the sanitary bureau came to see the VIP pregnant woman. Maybe the pregnant woman's belly was also caused by him, Nurse said excitedly. What's wrong with him? I can't even sleep. I haven't even had time to go online. I seem to have missed out on a few 100 million. Lu Shuang did not go to the office. He pulled Baiya to listen together. What's the name of that scumbag? Su Jiran. Yes, that's the name. A lot of things about him have been exposed on the internet. He changes women every 2 or 3 days. He has changed more than 30 women in 3 years, Nurse gossiped. More than 30. Lu Shuang looked at Baiya in shock. Baiya was very calm. It was not a big deal. There was no change in her expression. Yes, I guess the Discipline Inspection Commission will be looking for him. A person like him has seriously violated the discipline. He will probably step down, Nurse said. Dr. Lu, you can go online to see. The comments on the internet are much more interesting than what we said. After all, we don't know this director Su, but a lot of people on the internet do. They even broke the news and that photo. You should go take a look, Nurse B said. Okay, I got it. Lu Shuang dragged Baiya away. Who dares to touch Su Jiran? I think it's Gu Lingqing. Do you believe me? As soon as Lu Shuang said that, he realized that he had said something wrong. She shouldn't have talked about Gu Lingqing in front of Baiya. She quickly looked at Baiya's face. Baiya had already calmed down. Lu Shuang followed Baiya to Baiya's office. She quickly turned on her phone to read the gossip. This Gu Lingqing is really awesome. He has thrown out so much evidence. I feel like we have done it in vain, Lu Shuang said excitedly. Realizing that she had said too much, she slapped herself and looked at Baiya apologetically. I'm sorry. It's okay, Baiya said softly. She sat on her seat and checked today's work schedule. With all the evidence exposed, you and Su Jiran will definitely divorce, right? Lu Shuang said expectantly. I don't know, but I think the possibility is quite high. I will negotiate with Su Jiran later. As soon as Baiya said that, her phone rang. She saw that it was Su Jiran's call. She knew that he would call her, so she answered. Is it Gu Lingqing who did the things on the internet? Su Jiran asked with a smile, as if these things didn't affect him much. I don't know, Baiya replied directly. Let's meet at noon. Hehe, why do I feel that it's rare for you to take the initiative to meet him? Su Jiran teased. He walked to the health bureau and saw the military car. A malicious look appeared in his eyes. Do you want to meet him? Baiya asked back. I'll contact you later. Su Jiran hung up the phone and saw Lieutenant Colonel Shang getting out of the car, followed by 6 soldiers. Director Su, please get in the car, Lieutenant Colonel Shang said. His words were polite and his expression was professional. He didn't allow Su Jiran to refuse. Su Jiran raised the corner of his mouth, shrugged, and got in the car. He saw Gu Lingqing, who was as cold as silk, and gathered his clothes. Tell me, Chief Gu, what do you want from me? Gu Lingqing looked at him and examined Su Jiran. He squinted his eyes and said directly, if you divorce Baya, I can not only keep your position as the deputy director, but also make you the director. Hee, using a wife to exchange for an official position. It seems that I made a profit by marrying Baya. Su Jiran said with an evil smile. You don't like her anyway. Don't you? Gu Lingqing said coldly and arrogantly. But others like her. I have a bad habit. If others like something, even if I don't like it, I will take it for myself. I like it so that others can't get it. When I think about how they feel when they can't get it, I feel good. Su Jiran said in a strange tone. As long as I say it, you will be completely finished. Do you believe me? Gu Lingqing said coldly. Of course I believe you. But I like challenging things. Just let me be finished. Let's see if I will also finish you. In addition, I don't need you to say anything. I am here to resign today. Hee. Su Jiran chuckled, pushed the door open, and walked out. Gu Lingqing frowned. He always felt that Su Jiran's identity was not as simple as it seemed. When Su Jiran came out of the health bureau, his phone rang. He saw the caller ID and got into his car. He smiled wickedly and asked, is everything arranged? Those people are at your disposal. In addition, I know something about Gu Lingqing. You should be very interested to hear it. Hee, tell me. Don't keep me in suspense. I don't have much patience. Su Jiran started the car and drove out. Let's talk when we meet. At noon, Baya returned to the office after the surgery. She did not sleep well last night. She was resting on the table when her phone rang. She saw that it was Su Jiran and quickly picked it up. See you in 10 minutes at the Blue Mountain Cafe near the hospital. Su Jiran said and hung up. Baya quickly picked up her phone, grabbed her bag, and went out. Soon, she arrived at the Blue Mountain Cafe. She looked around and did not see Su Jiran, so she called him. I'm here. Where are you now? Baya looked around and asked. The second private room on the second floor. Come here. Su Jiran smiled. Baya went to the second floor. The light in the private room was very dark. There was a candle on the table. The shape of the candle was made to look like a rose. On the other hand, elegant music was playing from the rose-shaped speaker on the wall. The atmosphere in the private room was very romantic, but it was not suitable for them. Sit. Su Jiran nodded and glanced at the seat opposite him. Baya sat down. She did not want to reminisce with him, so she said directly, I have the video of you and Xing Jinyan having sex. Chapter 80. Baya was very calm. There was no emotion in her clear eyes. She looked at Su Jiran indifferently. My business has nothing to do with him. I don't like him, so don't mix my business with his. Su Jiran curled his lips and examined Baya. Are you protecting him? Or are you afraid of me? I'm really surprised that I'm so strong in your heart. I'm just being honest. You can't see a person clearly in 4 years, let alone 1 month. I still know what I want, Baya said rationally. It's good that you can think that way. I'm warning you, don't fall in love with Gu Lingqing, because he won't fall in love with you. He loves someone else, Su Jiran said with certainty. Baya looked at him with drooping eyes. There was no expression on her face, but there was some tiredness in her brows. Let's talk about our business. Once I release this video, you're completely finished. What's finished? Su Jiran asked in return and took a sip of coffee elegantly. He was too calm and collected, so calm and collected that it was terrifying. Your political future, isn't it? As a married man, you had that kind of relationship with another woman. Or, do you want to see the video before you give up? Baya opened the video on her phone and passed it to him. Su Jiran glanced at the video. It was half an hour long, and it was taken after he came out of the police station last night. There was a sharp glint in his eyes. You installed a pinhole camera in the bathroom. Baya looked down, her long eyelashes covering the glint in her eyes. The pinhole camera was installed by Xing Jinyan. However, she didn't want to ruin his relationship with Xing Jinyan, so she took the blame. Divorce, Su Jiran. You know that the video you have about Lu Shuang is also about His Highness. Just like how you won't easily upload it online, I won't upload it either. I just want a peaceful life and won't affect your future, Baya said softly. Ha! Su Jiran put the coffee cup on the table, and the coffee in the cup almost spilled out. Didn't Gu Lingqing tell you? I quit. Do you think I'm afraid of your videos? Baya was stunned and said in shock, you resigned? Su Jiran tapped the table lightly. Is it strange that I don't even look up to the deputy director of the health bureau? Baya suddenly felt as if he had been splashed with cold water from head to toe. She saw that she was about to be freed and had put in a lot of effort, but in the end, she was just a clown in front of Su Jiran. He felt wronged because he had already done his best. Tears quietly flowed from her eyes, but they were terrifyingly empty. Su Jiran, if there is a next life, I don't want to know you again, and I don't want to fall in love with you. Baya put away his phone and stood up. Stop! Su Jiran shouted, frowning at her. Her tears seemed to touch the softest chord in his heart. Why are you crying? Su Jiran asked confusedly. Baya smiled. She shouldn't cry. What's the use of crying? It can't solve any problems. People like you won't understand the life of people like us. I don't think I owe you anything. If you think it's not enough, I'll use my life to pay for it. At least, I can get the freedom of my soul, Baya said coldly and walked towards the door. Su Jiran held her arm, and his eyes narrowed. He looked at her pale face. What do you mean? Baya took a deep breath and looked at Su Jiran. He was good-looking, but he had the heart of a devil. I feel so tired. Maybe it's because I did too many wrong things in my previous life, so I'm destined to not be happy in this life. I don't need you to remember me, but you'll always owe me. In your next life, you won't have a good life either. Baya shook off Su Jiran's hand. He held it tightly and didn't let go. Baya was numb from the pain. She looked at him coldly. Why do you have to divorce me? I can give you a comfortable life and enough money. Isn't that enough? Even the identity of Mrs. Su is yours. You've gotten more than Xing Jinyan. Do you want to die? Su Jiran didn't understand. The money I need isn't given by others, but earned by myself. I use it with a clear conscience. The marriage I want is loyalty. I want comfort and peace of mind. When I go home, I feel warmth, not desolation. Baya smiled. People like you won't understand. You won't even love. Then will you? You keep saying that you love me, but you're with Gu Lingqing. Is that your love? Su Jiran tore apart his usual elegance. He was finally angry and revealed his true emotions. If I didn't love you, why would I be so sad? Every time I saw you with another woman, every knife cut into my heart. My heart used to only have your name, Su Jiran, on it, but you cut it all off, turning me into a person who doesn't know how to love. What do you think? Do you think I'll still love someone now? No, I don't even know the meaning of living now. Baya was also very emotional. The veins on her neck were all popping. Even she felt that she looked very ferocious. Su Jiran looked at Baya blankly. The women I'm with are willing to share me with other women. They won't be angry or sad. They're like sisters. Baya really didn't want to say anything more. Su Jiran would never understand how he hurt her. Maybe she shouldn't have given her feelings. She turned her face away. She thought that she wouldn't cry, but when her psychological defense was broken, she couldn't control her tears. She cried all the tears that she had been suppressing for the past 3 years. Go find other women. Baya wanted to laugh, but she couldn't. She shouldn't blame Su Jiran. She should blame herself. It was she who fell in love with him. All he wanted was to play in the world. She wanted to keep her dignity at the last moment. Su Jiran stared at Baya. There was a faint pain in his heart. He didn't want Baya to die. Divorce. I agree to divorce, Su Jiran said in a low voice. Baya looked at Su Jiran in surprise. Her eyes were red and swollen. She couldn't believe that he actually agreed to divorce. But I have a request. You must see me twice a week. Each time, it's not less than 3 hours. But don't worry, if you're not willing, I won't touch you. There are a lot of women who are willing to let me touch them. I don't have the patience to deal with you. But when I call you, you must come to the place I specify, Su Jiran said in a low voice. He didn't know why he made such a strange request. Maybe he was worried that he would never see her again. In this way, he could still see her twice a week. Chapter 81. Baya looked at Su Jiran in disbelief. You're really willing to get a divorce? I have to be on call, Su Jiran added. What if I'm at work? Baya still found it hard to believe. He had agreed to the divorce so suddenly, and she hadn't even succeeded in threatening him yet. I'll look for you when you're not at work, Su Jiran said in a low voice. How long do you want it to last? Baya asked immediately. You don't have the right to negotiate with me until I'm tired of it. Of course, you can also choose not to get a divorce. Su Jiran's lips curled up, but his eyes were desolate. You'd better agree, because I don't really want a divorce now. Yes, I agree. I'll go to the Civil Affairs Bureau to get a divorce now. I can leave with nothing. I have the household register with me. Baya agreed immediately. Su Jiran felt an indescribable sense of loss in his heart. He walked in front. Baya seemed to be afraid that he would regret it, so she followed behind him. Su Jiran went back to the villa to get the household register and the marriage certificate. It was eerily quiet in the car. The closer they got to the Civil Affairs Bureau, the more he realized that he didn't want a divorce. After they divorced, she would marry another man, become another man's wife, cook for other men, and give birth to other men's children. The more he thought about it, the more uncomfortable he felt. You won't get married immediately after the divorce, will you? Su Jiran asked coldly. No, Baya said with certainty. Su Jiran looked at Baya. She was gentle and quiet. The sunlight fell on the side of her face. Her beautiful appearance made his heart throb and ripple after ripple. Actually, Baya was very beautiful. That was why he had decided to marry her instead of Xing Jinyan the first time he saw her. He just didn't expect that she was worthless in Xing Bachuan's heart. What if I say that I won't play with women in the future? Do you still want to divorce me? Su Jiran asked. As soon as he asked, he felt annoyed. If that was the case, it would make him seem a little petty. He had always been arrogant and conceited. Just kidding, Su Jiran added. After saying this, he regretted it even more. Maybe Baya would agree not to divorce. He had blocked all his avenues. After a while, they arrived at the Civil Affairs Bureau. He followed Baya up the stairs, feeling an inexplicable panic in his heart. In the end, he wanted to show his good side. You don't have to leave with nothing. I'll transfer the ownership of the house you're living in to you. I'll give you another $1 million. You can live a better life. No need. You didn't steal your money. You picked it up from the ground. Baya refused. Su Jiran locked his eyes on Baya. He hoped that at this time, Baya would ask him for an exorbitant price. That way, he would feel better. She could also destroy his noble and elegant image in her mind. However, she didn't. She didn't want anything, not even the compensation for the loss of her youth. You're so stubborn. For you, there's no benefit at all. Just take it if I give it to you, right? Su Jiran quickly walked to her side. Baya smiled. We always look at problems with our own eyes, but we never know what others want. Thank you for your kindness, Mr. Su, but I really don't need it. Mr. Su's distant way of addressing him made him feel really uncomfortable. Su Jiran handed the marriage certificate to the window. He wanted to be very straightforward and indifferent. He said, "We want a divorce. Do you have a divorce agreement?" "No, I want to leave with nothing," Baya said softly. The staff looked at Baya strangely, and then looked at Su Jiran. Baya looked very clean. She didn't have any makeup on. She looked soft, but her eyes were a little red and swollen, but her expression was calm. As for Su Jiran, he looked like a naughty ruffian. He frowned and felt a little annoyed. He looked at the marriage certificate, and there was a part of his heart that was twisted so tightly that it hurt. He didn't want a divorce. He didn't want a divorce. He didn't want a divorce. His heart and mind kept repeating this thought strongly, but his body seemed to be resisting it. He couldn't move. The staff handed over a few forms and reminded, "Sign on the form. Think carefully before you sign it. Once you've signed it, you'll get the divorce certificate in half an hour. You'll have nothing to do with each other anymore." Baya got the form and wrote her name on it without hesitation. Su Jiran saw that she signed it so quickly. He had a strange feeling in his heart. He also wrote his name on the form. Baya handed the form to the staff. Su Jiran hesitated for a moment. "Are you handing it over or not?" The staff asked Su Jiran. His mind was blank. Without thinking, he handed over the form. He saw the staff stamp on the list. Bang, 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 bang. Each sound fell on his heart. He and Baya really had nothing to do with each other anymore. "Do you want to go for a drink? It'll take some time to get the divorce certificate anyway," Su Jiran said to Baya softly. Baya shook her head. "Pay before you go for tea," the staff said. "Okay. How much do you want?" Baya said and took out her wallet from her bag. "I'll pay for it," Su Jiran said. He took out his black card from his wallet and handed it to the staff. The staff rolled his eyes at Su Jiran. 10 yuan. Baya handed the 10 yuan to the staff. Su Jiran felt uncomfortable in his heart. Only then did he remember that he was very generous to the women outside. He bought bags, luxury cars, villas, jewelry, and accessories, but he had never bought anything expensive for Baya. The most expensive thing was probably the rose that he had thrown into the trash. Oh yes, he had bought her a dress, a pair of shoes, and a pair of earrings. They were not worth much. Would Baya wear them in the future? The invalid marriage certificate and divorce certificate are here, the staff said. Su Jiran came back to his senses. He looked at the divorce certificate and felt uncomfortable in his heart. It's so cheap to get a divorce. No wonder so many people get divorced. It should be more expensive. The staff was too lazy to care about him. Baya looked at the divorce certificate and felt like she was dreaming. She was finally divorced. She was finally free. She put the marriage certificate and the divorce certificate in her bag and walked out. Su Jiran wanted to stop her, but the words were stuck in his throat. He threw the invalid marriage certificate and the divorce certificate into the trash can and walked out. In the car, he smoked a few cigarettes. He remembered the first time he met Baya. She was still a student. When she walked out of the school gate, she was wearing a sky blue dress. She was beautiful, and every step she took was like a lotus. However, she had a sense of alienation and innate pride. Because of this pride, he chose her. Half an hour later, Su Jiran picked up the invalid marriage certificate from the trash can and opened it. In the photo, Baya frowned slightly and pursed her lips. However, her eyes were clear and full of hope. She was lovely and charming. Every facial feature was so beautiful, but he lost her. Chapter 82. When Baya returned to the hospital, Lu Shuang was in her office. When he saw Baya come back, he ran over worriedly. How did it go? Was Su Jiran scared? Baya smiled. He divorced me. Really? Lu Shuang was very surprised. His eyes were sparkling. Baya nodded. It's true. We went to the Civil Affairs Bureau in the afternoon to get the divorce certificate. From now on, I'm free. That's great, that's great. Lu Shuang held Baya's arm and jumped up happily. Baya was happy too. She pursed her lips and smiled. Let's go out to celebrate today. We'll celebrate you being single again, Lu Shuang said happily. Not today. I want to go back and have a good sleep. Baya yawned. Yes, go back and have a good sleep. I'll leave the celebration for the weekend. I have an operation in the afternoon, so I'll go back first. Okay, I'll lie down for a while. I have an operation at 16 p.m. too, Baya said. Maybe it was because she had cried for a long time, or maybe it was because she did not have a good rest. Her eyes were a little sore. Lu Shuang playfully made an okay gesture and went out. She thought about it and wanted to tell Gu Lingqing the good news. But she was also a little hesitant. Should she tell him or not? Lu Shuang held the coin and said to herself, if it's the side with numbers, I'll tell him. If it's the side without numbers, I won't tell him. She threw it with her eyes closed. The coin landed with a crisp sound. She opened her eyes and watched the coin roll. It rolled under the table. Lu Shuang was speechless. She moved the table away and found a few coins under the table. Lu Shuang was speechless. When did she drop so many coins under the table? Forget it. Even if she didn't say it, Gu Lingqing would know. Why not do Gu Lingqing a favor? It was decided happily. She called Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing answered the call. Well, Baya and Su Jiran divorced. She got the divorce certificate, but don't look for her today. She didn't sleep last night. Also, don't tell anyone that I told her, Lu Shuang said. Gu Lingqing raised the corner of his mouth. Lieutenant Colonel Shang heaved a sigh of relief when he saw the bureau chief smile. When the bureau chief was unhappy, the people around him would most likely suffer. I understand. Thank you. Gu Lingqing's tone softened a lot. However, Baya has her own thoughts. She's stubborn, so take your time. There's no rush. I'll keep an eye on her for you. If a love rival appears, I'll inform you immediately. Come on, Lu Shuang cheered him on. Yes, Gu Lingqing replied. As soon as Baya got off work, her phone rang. She saw that it was Su Jiran. She hesitated for a while before picking up. What's wrong? Baya asked uncertainly. They were divorced now. She was a little worried. It wasn't a good thing. Didn't you say that you'll give me 2 days a week and 3 hours a day? You're off work now. I'm still at the Blue Mountain Coffee near your hospital. The previous private room. Come over, or I'll pick you up, Su Jiran said lightly. Baya really didn't understand Su Jiran. He suddenly agreed to the divorce. In the past, she wouldn't be able to see him even once a month. After the divorce, she saw him more often. I'll come over myself, Baya said, not understanding. She went to the Blue Mountain Coffee and went into the original private room. There was only Su Jiran in there. He was playing with his phone. Baya sat opposite him. What do you want to drink? Su Jiran asked. Baya shook her head. I haven't rested well for a few days. I'm a little sleepy. I don't want to drink anything. Then sleep for a while. Su Jiran nodded and glanced at the sofa. Baya frowned and looked at him defensively. Su Jiran smiled and tapped his fingers on the table lazily. He said confidently, if I want to do anything to you, you won't be able to resist even if you're awake. I said I won't touch you, so I won't touch you. Baya thought about it and realized that he was right. She really couldn't open her eyes. Anyway, she had to wait for 3 hours. Instead of looking at him awake, she might as well sleep quietly. She lay on the sofa and closed her eyes. She was too tired and fell asleep after a while. Su Jiran looked at her faint figure. He took off his suit and covered her body. He started to deal with official business. Mr. Su, the Gu family is also competing for the land at Qingshui Wharf. They want to connect Qingshui Wharf and Blue Sky Bay. Su Jiran curled his lips and typed. Then we'll fight for the land. He wants it, but I won't give it to him. Okay, I'll bid for it then. I'll give you the price later. Su Jiran typed. He texted Xing Jinyan. See you at my house in 3 hours. I have a gift for you. Moi. Xing Jinyan quickly sent a message over. Su Jiran's eyes remained cold. He sent another message. Wrap my divorce certificate with a diamond necklace. The kind that costs around 10,000. Okay. Su Jiran looked at Baya. She slept very soundly, her breathing was very light and quiet. She was beautiful in her sleep. She looked prettier without any makeup. He picked up his phone and took a few photos. He chose one and used it as his screensaver. His eyes paused for a moment before he deleted it. Baya's phone rang. He furrowed his brows and took out Baya's phone. It was Lu Shuang's. He pressed the volume button and sent a message. What's up? Little Bai, didn't you say you're back to sleep? I see you're not at home. Lu Shuang was puzzled. I'll be back later. Su Jiran replied on behalf of Baya. He put Baya's phone on silent mode and put it in her bag. Baya woke up. She remembered that she was still in the private room. She sat up and saw that Su Jiran was still sitting opposite her. What time is it now? Su Jiran bent his arm and looked at the time, 10:05. You've slept for almost 5 hours. Then I'll go back. Baya put his clothes aside and stood up. Su Jiran handed her a box. Take it. What? Baya glanced at the box. She did not want to take it. I owe you a jade bracelet from last time. I was going to give it to you, but my mum took a liking to it. This one is better than the one from before, so take it. Su Jiran said casually, a devilish smile on his face. Baya was wary of Su Jiran, who exuded masculine hormones. Men gave women clothes so that they could easily take them off. Men gave women jewelry so that they could bind their fragile hearts. The more valuable it was, the heavier the shackles would be. No need. I don't need it. She walked towards the door. Su Jiran frowned. The more she did not want it, the more he wanted to give it to her. He took out the jade bracelet, held Baya's hand and put it on. He put it on and left. She took off the jade bracelet and put it in the jewelry box. You're tuning into the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.